near you at demanddeborah.org.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
A cat that was shot by an arrow in North Philly last week is recovering well. Philadelphia Water Department defends itself after critics worry its storm management system isn't keeping up with higher rain levels. The Eagles start their bye week after a forgettable loss to Tampa, while the Phillies wait to see who they'll face in the NLDS.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
When it comes to your home, trust is everything. For 45 years, Kitchen Magic has built a reputation for transforming kitchens with precision and care. From custom cabinets to countertops, backsplashes to storage solutions. And we get the job done fast. In just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without the hassle. So trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades. Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation at kitchenmagic.com and let's cook up something extraordinary.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-3183. That's 800-291-3183. 800-291-3183.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Hey, good Monday. Welcome in. It is Dom time. A new explanation why we're seeing just a revolution here with Latinos moving to Trump, which in the end could be incredibly significant. And a story out today that says that Harris is the worst in a generation of Democrats, beyond, with union voters. That's how close Trump is, as we talked about last week. But first, what's the best explanation for Latinos moving to Trump? You know, you could talk about the economy, but then the counter is, well, how in the world can they like what Trump is saying about the border? Well, the polling indicates not only are they okay, they think a lot of that is the correct way to go. But here is Maria Henjosi, who was on MSNBC, and here is a talking point you started to hear this weekend. It's kind of like Asians. Here's why Latinos are moving toward Trump.
Candidate. Well, this is the one, it's supposed to be with Vice President Harris at 54%. It's a 14-point lead. Is that it? The bottom number? Yes, so there it is. So she has a 14-point lead, but it has been shrinking after each consecutive presidential election from 2016. Right. Why is that? Why is the Democratic share of the Latino vote shrinking?
And what I said to you when we asked the question was, Latinos want to be white. They want to be with the cool kids. They want to be, I'm asking Latinos all the time, and they just say, well, ese Donald Trump es tan buen negociante. He's such a good businessman. It's like, no, he's not. He had bankruptcies. But they don't want to be identified with all of those other immigrants that Donald Trump speaks so badly of, including me as a Mexican immigrant. So they're like, we'd rather, let's be with him. But those numbers, they could cost Kamala Harris the election.
Oh,
everything that I've been saying that Latinos could push her over the top, these are the numbers that could also take her down.
So Latinos want to be white. Now they're white adjacent. Asians are going to have to move over. They're going to be tiers in the white adjacent. You know what? That is one of the most racist from the left all-time terms, white adjacent. Maybe by the next election, we won't be able to count Latinos anymore as minorities. They'll be treated like Asians. You see, when you're inconvenienced, like Asians are, to the other side, to the left, you get that white adjacent stuff. Well, you really can't count them as minorities that are succeeding. So here, they want to be whites. They want to be seen as white. The age-old thing. How many times do they, yes, Dan, I'll get to that. How many times do they play this with black conservatives? Now we have Abel Maldonado, who's the former lieutenant governor of California, coming on because of all the stuff at the border. And I will play that for him, just that first part if we can play. We don't need the whole thing. And ask him if he feels white adjacent. Is that why he's coming on the Dom Giordano show? Well, you're white adjacent, sir. It's obvious. That's why you would do it. You want to be white. Always having to fool around in the most despicable terms to explain some things that might be simple there. That maybe they're getting the brunt of Bidenomics. They don't like Harris, who really does. And that may be why Trump has appeal, and they're giving it another look. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. This is cut 4. All weekend I saw this, and I figured something out that the Inquirer and others really don't want to cover this story. I'm going to play you the sound of ESPN Plus, which I know there's a gazillion ESPN channels. Man, they got to be hard up when they're putting on the LaSalle and St. Louis women's field hockey game. And there's nobody transgendered involved. There'd be a story then. I can see them covering it. LaSalle, my alma mater, which disgraced itself last October 7th, we'll see what they do this time, apparently doesn't have a field that can be used for women's field hockey. So they're playing the games at Temple. Now listen to this coverage, listen to the sound. It's gunfire on the very street they're playing. Now, I don't know how many, I didn't look up the schedule. I bet they play 20 games, so if they have 10 home games, is anybody saying, you know what, I don't think you can play an outdoor sport at Temple unless you're going to have wall-to-wall guys with shotguns, and even then, they're not firing at you. It's drive-by fire. So on the very street they're playing, they have to evacuate and then not finish the game. And a question, if it's safe to play there, why didn't they come back and finish the game after the gunfire? When's the next game over at Temple? Would you let your daughter play field hockey at Temple? Sometimes they play at night. It doesn't matter. Here's how it sounded on ESPN Plus. Cut 4.
Looks like players are running off the field. There were some loud noises, and it looks like players are evacuating the field right now.
Boy, great commentary from ESPN Plus there. These guys a team that was on this game. So can you play an outdoor sport at Temple? Well, that just happened. And it was only like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon as this was going on. I would argue no. I wouldn't play an outdoor sport at Temple. And it's not necessarily they're going to fire on you. It's the randomness of it. Now, a couple of police that sent it to me said they think it was an AK-47 that was going off there. Now, you can imagine how many shots could be fired where they go with these idiots firing at each other in broad daylight at Temple. So, Dan, is it unreasonable to say you can't play a field hockey game there?
No, it's not. And you can't play high school basketball or high school football because we saw what happened a couple of years ago. I'm to the point now where if my kids wanted to be at one of these public events in parts of Philadelphia, I'd have to question whether or not it'd be safe.
Yeah, and again, LaSalle doesn't. It's not even Temple's team. LaSalle doesn't have their home field. Don't you think they ought to be looking for a different field?
Like something like this happens, are you as another program considering forfeiting games because you don't want to play on this field?
Well, I wouldn't forfeit them.
No.
I would demand that the team that Temple forfeits.
Yeah.
Because they have an unsafe, we can't say any of this. So we're going to send young women, LaSalle is, back to Temple because they don't want to make a ruckus over this. They hope it goes away. And they would tell me, you're just looking for it. You don't have to look that hard at Temple, AK-47. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, people screaming, get down now, as they come off the field. How about the league that sponsors this? Should they say, no, we can't be continuing. You're going to have to play another field. Don't you think they should say, look, we're going to go and play at a high school field. It's got to be a high school field where they can go play, right? That's safe. They don't want to do it because they don't want to point out what Temple really is.
I like talking solutions. What do you suggest, though, happens? Like, how do you fix this?
I say they go and play at a high school field. Temple's not safe. There is no solution.
This is the field hockey capital of the United States.
Is it?
This area. Yeah. There's a million field hockey fields around. You don't have to play at Temple.
How do you know that?
Well, Dan, you mean a solution? I'm sorry, Henry. There's a lot of
it's
but
two different. You
mean the solution is at Temple? Well, there is no solution. Yeah. Can't do it there. That's the bottom line to me.
You just can't have events outdoors anymore?
Well, even if you had guys standing there with shotguns or whatever you want, if these idiots are firing at each other, they're not exactly firing at you with an AK-47. It's random.
Is it though?
Yeah.
It seems all these shootings are targeted. Could you at least feel some level of safety knowing that they're not coming after just random civilians?
Yeah, but you're caught in the middle of it. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I guess, no, but I guess though you could say I've been told it was a little bit down the block, not much. They should have continued the game. They're not firing at you.
Yeah.
Which is true. They're not firing it. And then they should have come back and played the game.
We won't go down this hall, but just a reminder, let's move them to the Navy Yard. I think that's the solution.
Oh, that's your favorite. Yeah, they could take the driverless vehicle there. Yeah. But
there's space there, Dom. It's like 2 ways in, 2 ways out. You can post up security. It's a perfect solution. There's stadiums right there. They don't even have to build their own stadiums. They can play in the link.
Well, I'll be following this. I have to look up when LaSalle plays there again and to see. They won't go and play at a high school field. That's what they ought to do. It's unsafe there. If Temple wants to play there, they should play there. Okay. 855-839-1210. Now, a lot dropped on Friday around the border, and I'm hoping J.D. Vance tomorrow night can really come up with a couple of nuggets. That's all that he needs on the border to talk about how bad it is. One of the problems with this just out today with illegal immigrants is insurance cost. The numbers are staggering. The federal government, and I think this is probably low, has released data showing more than 155,000 illegal immigrants have been convicted or face charges for criminal traffic offenses as Americans' auto insurance bills rise rapidly. Now, some of that's due to Bidenomics, but some of it's due to this. In other words, you have people coming from countries where it seems to me often the traffic laws are only loosely enforced. There are often young men here driving drunk. And when you put the two things together, it's what we saw in Springfield, Ohio, and also in the town in Pennsylvania and a couple of other places. reckless driving, wild driving. That's what you're seeing. But those statistics that dropped on Friday are startling. One other, we told you about this, ICE put them out. And over the weekend on national TV, a couple people were asked, why would ICE put these statistics out at this point? Here's Dan, this is cut 12. Here's Representative Emmer saying, why would ICE release these statistics? Because technically they're part of the Biden administration. Cut 12.
Another thing I want to get your comment on, this new ICE data that's just come out, talking about the amount of criminals that have crossed over into the border, murderers, rapists, sexual assault, all coming across the border. 13,000 convicted of homicide, 15,000 convicted of sexual assault, and we're talking about 425,000 of non-citizens that have been convicted of a crime. The Harris-Walz campaign have been saying that this is just data over decades. What do you know about it?
Well, these are the only ones we know, right? There are others that we probably don't know because they've left that border wide open, and we've had people pouring over that border for 4 years, Lawrence. This is clearly a shot from inside the Border Patrol, inside of ICE, giving information because these the Harris-Biden administration has been putting their lives at risk for 4 years. And you know that the company line is, hey, there's nothing to see here. It's all good. But in the rank and file, you got to believe that those men and women who are serving us, who have families, have had enough. So this information is just the tip of the iceberg. And I was telling you before we started, these guys, the Harris and Wall and Biden, have been stonewalling every step of the way when Congress is trying to get this information. So I think it's pretty reliable. But now, where there's smoke, there's fire. We got to look.
Definitely fire.
Yeah.
And there's...
All right, so maybe these ICE people are doing the country a great service. So that I don't forget, Kamala Harris did go on this Steven Jackson show, former NBA player, I think 2 NBA players, and it allegedly, this podcast has hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million people. They're 2 black former NBA athletes. And the one guy, Steven Jackson, in the video we have, you can see him rolling his eyes as Kamala Harris tries to bond, trying to reach African-American men, principally. Here's how it sounded talking about Harris when she was growing up, either being driven by her father or getting her father's car.
An incredible family and incredible friends. My best friend from kindergarten is still one of my best friends.
That's crazy.
Right? Stacey Johnson.
Yeah, that's dope. I love it.
We used to go to the clubs and her father Seville.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't hear the Seville there. Was that the shorter cut? Yeah.
See if I can find the full one.
Oh, yeah, the full. We'll get you the full one. But I'm interested in this podcast because this is where she has a lot of work to do to see what she's trying to do with this. This is one of the few interviews, if you will, alone. She was asked about her economic plan, and she talked about growing up middle class, even here, in which is kind of a fun podcast. It's not Meet the Press or something. Okay, side question today. We were looking on Friday. We've never done this before. Given the Eagles debacle playing in Florida, it was hot. And also the epicenter in the beginning of the hurricanes. By the way, a lot, and we'll talk to Michael Watley, head of the RNC, at 1:30 today.
So that just cut it short.
Yeah.
Here's what you're looking for, Don.
Yeah, that's dope. I love it.
We used to go to the clubs and her father Seville.
Yeah.
These guys are saying, "Oh man, let's get to the economic plan."
Did you hear the pork roast thing?
Yes. When Biden told her, I didn't quite understand it because I didn't hear the. Let's play it.
Yeah, here you go.
When Biden told her he was quitting, she marinated a pork roast.
Yeah, because that's what you do when you find out your boss is quitting, right?
Yeah.
Here's how that sounded.
Look, from the time that the president, Stacey Johnson.
Yeah, that's dope. I love it.
Speedy motion. And I was not sleeping so well.
Gravy.
And
the multimedia.
That one morning, I had, I don't know, a few hours sleep, and I like to sleep. I just got up, and so I just went out and got a pork roast and started marinating.
See, time to work. Get to your happy place.
And
Go to your happy place.
Yeah, the marinating pork roast. What is it with food and this group? Walls tomorrow night's probably going to come out with a pie or something and give it to the moderators. I wouldn't put it past Walls to have a camo hat on and come out and be chomping on something and say, that's right, I'm likable now.
How about some Doritos?
One of my guilty pleasures, especially when I'm on the road, are my Doritos.
Oh, what flavor?
Nacho. Old school, original.
OG,
Come on.
yeah. OG.
Come on.
Red bag.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. That's exactly. Got to have a napkin nearby.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My goodness. All right, this is all authentic. And she might be actually doing this. She can't even fake. Hillary's better at faking it. I don't know any sports questions. That might be interesting. All right, 855-839-1210. So we're looking for something associated with Florida. Person, place, event, history. I'll take off the obvious, Disney. And I think I'm right. I didn't look this one up, but I think Ponce de Leon and the Fountain of Youth was in Florida, or at least allegedly was in that area. So I want to take that off before anybody gets that. Dan, how about yours?
I'll take the better version of Disney off the board. How about Universal Studios Florida?
Well, okay.
Yeah,
I don't think they do as well, but yeah, they're good. Yeah, we've been there.
And how about those Miami football Dolphins? A lot of history there, but a sad state that they're currently in that team.
Okay. Henry, how about yours?
Yeah, so I'm going to take the phenomenon known as Florida Man. It seems that every once in a while, or a lot in the news cycle, you see a headline, Florida Man does something outrageous. That's because Florida has very wide open public record laws, unlike Pennsylvania. So as soon as a crime like that happens, it's pretty much open to the public, which gives a lot of journalists, you know, an in to write a headline-grabbing story like that.
I never knew that. I thought Florida just was more bizarre, but
no,
you're probably right.
I'm sure there's a lot of bizarre things that go on in Pennsylvania. Just we don't know about it.
Yeah, Philadelphia alone. Okay, 855-839-1210. That's your side question today. We'll talk with the former Lieutenant Governor of California, who is Latino, I believe, at 12:30 about immigration, but also this idea, Latinos, finally, we should admit it, they want to be white, and Donald Trump is their way to show they're very white. 855-839-1210.
This is Carson Daly, and on behalf of Dr. Alfie, Katie Neal, and all of our guests, I want to thank you for joining us for I'm Listening, Odyssey's mental health initiative. Our goal is to open our minds and hearts to more mental health conversations, because talk saves lives. If you missed the special or want to hear it again, you can find it at imlistening.org and on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. For more resources on your mental health journey, please visit imlistening.org. Thanks again.
The following is a paid commercial message.
A lot of congressmen talk about real results, but Brian Fitzpatrick actually delivers for real people like Tom.
I believe that Congressman Fitzpatrick does have his finger on the pulse, does feel the needs of businesses, and recognizes what small businesses mean to Main Street America.
Janice.
I would say 100% that I support Brian Fitzpatrick for Congress. I know that he has our interests at heart. He's just really a man of great integrity.
And Pete.
Congressman Fitzpatrick is very responsive, especially to veterans' needs. I can't think of any other person I'd rather see as my congressman than Brian Fitzpatrick.
Delivering for Pennsylvania. That's Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. Vote on or before Election Day, November 5th. Paid for by America's Credit Unions PAC of Credit Union National Association, Inc., americascreditunions.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. America's Credit Unions PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-8517. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-224-8517. 800-224-8517. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Talking, you make sure I always see the daylight.
All right, Dom Giordano show. Sad to hear the passing of Mutombo, Dikembe Mutombo, former Sixers Mount Mutombo center. One of the all-time great commercials. I think we'll do a side question tomorrow around it because the accents. I've had people, when I taught at community college, Dan, I think one guy from Nigeria, I just could not penetrate the accent. I mean, I try to read lips. I try to do everything. It's still, and Mutombo had a little bit of, and Beat at times has a similar accent that Joe Conklin does very well. I think he did Mutombo. So we might be doing accents tomorrow. Those that work really well and those that are difficult. Be ready for that. Side question today, Florida, though. Eagles yesterday. Ray Dininger here at 2 o'clock today. Haven't spoken with Ray in a while. It's already the watch to fire Nick Sirianni is underway, given yesterday how bad this looked. I mean, they were missing guys, without a doubt. He's here at 2. And we're going to talk to the former Lieutenant Governor of California at 12:30 about all the immigration news, border news that came out. But over the weekend, J.D. Vance handled this well, I think. He was going to go to Permonte Brothers in Pittsburgh, and it's unclear whether or not they knew he was coming or they're biased, because this is the place where Kamala Harris ousted people a while back on tour of Pittsburgh and put actors in there pretending to be people eating at the restaurant. So Vance still went forward, paid for a nice bill of buying stuff there and a tip, and then talked about no tax on tips. Harris, or at least her people on Twitter, piled on, even though J.D. Vance was trying, at least publicly, to say it was just a mix-up so that people are not threatening the business or boycotting the business. The Harris people on Twitter said, no, they didn't want him there. You know, small thing, but look at the way Vance handled it versus the Harris people. Who's divisive here? He was also over at our great friend Jim Worthington's place on Saturday, and he took questions from the media there in front of an audience of 1,500. WHYY says the Inquirer reporter, when identified, had trouble being heard because of the jeers. I can imagine.
I love
and
that. That's
the
awesome.
question is a tell where they're going. They don't want to talk about why we should deport all these people that are here illegally. They want to center in on you can't do it. How would you do that? And Vance's answer, he talked about local law enforcement. Now, local law enforcement in some places is certainly not going to cooperate. In others, they definitely would. And he talked about an incremental approach. We're not going to get 20 million people out of here. That's not the point. It's about turning it around the other way. It's about incrementalism. And I hope Trump speaks about this more, takes his time, rather than the rambling at rallies or whatever. Just a few talking points on this by Trump, drilling down, taking some time on it, refute what the other side is saying with this. You can't just say, we're going to deport them and that's it. They're going to continue to hammer away at how to try to chip some people away, to say, you're never going to do this. You'll be pulling kids away from their parents and all this stuff. So I hope in tomorrow night's debate, Vance continues this. I'm looking at some of the betting odds, and yes, they predict Walz will say weird. I predict he can't go 15 minutes without saying, mind your own damn business. Walz. I mean, preposterous, given he's the one that puts the government into everything. I know it's hard to take, but you have to calmly drill down on this, not move off the point, even if bells are ringing and they're telling you time is up. Apparently, there will not be fact checks tomorrow night, which is interesting. So 855-839-1210, you get on board. All right, let's go to Mike in Westchester. Side question today. Florida, something associated with Florida. Hey, Mike, good afternoon. What do you have today?
Hey, Dom, good afternoon. So I thought with the trans culture and trans culture being constantly pushed down our throat, something came to mind was fictitious Dolphins kicker Ray Finkel, that we know later transitioned to Lois Einhorn.
All right.
Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura. I love it.
Know that the wisdom of that? I don't know that that's accurate, but okay. All right. Okay.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll have to brush up on that. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. Coming up, Lieutenant Governor of California. Want to talk with him about California and the border. This ice dump on Friday was tremendous. Just the sheer volume of whom we're letting across the border. Now, Republicans, including Trump, have to just read the statistics. And then, who is it? It was probably Vance, I think, that talked about the sheer number of murders. What kind of basketball arena they would fill up. The 425,000 people, that would be 4 Michigan football games. Take your time with this stuff. Make people see it. It's a brave thing by the ICE people to do this. All right, we're going to talk with Abel Maldonado, former Lieutenant Governor of California, and I'll ask him, too, about Trump and Latinos in this argument. These Latinos, they just want to be white. It's like the white-adjacent Asians. That's why Latinos are going toward Trump. I think it's more than just the economy, but the economy's a big part of it. 855-839-1210.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
The dreary conditions remain in the forecast for the first half of the work week. Clouds today with a shower possible. Still mild with a high 73. Tonight, clouds continue with a chance for a shower, low 60. And another cloudy day on Tuesday with a shower possible, high 71.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Why is the Democratic share of the Latino vote shrinking?
And what I said to you when we asked the question was, Latinos want to be white. They want to be with the cool kids. They want to be, I'm asking Latinos all the time, and they just say, well, ese Donald Trump es tan buen negociante. He's such a good businessman. It's like, no, he's not. He had bankruptcies. But they don't want to be identified with all of those other immigrants that Donald Trump speaks so badly of, including me as a Mexican immigrant. So they're like, let's be with him.
All right, Dom Giordano show. Now, this is very similar to the Asians Are White Adjacent. Joining us is Abel Maldonado, former Lieutenant Governor of California, the epicenter of a lot of the border crisis, without a doubt. He joins us here on Talk Radio 1210. Lieutenant Governor, welcome to Philadelphia. Thank you for joining us.
It's my honor to be on your show, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, we just played one of the analysts over the weekend, and I've seen this in a few places, their explanation why Latinos, in startling numbers, really, versus the usual, even back to Biden 2020, are moving toward President Trump and away from Harris. What are your thoughts on that? It seems to be they're trying to be something they're not.
Well, you know, Dom, obviously the Democrats will do anything that they can right now to try to retract those numbers. President Ronald Reagan said it best. Latinos are Republicans. They just don't know it. And he said that a long time ago. And, you know, the formula of the Democrat Party, Dom, for the Hispanic community has not been a winning one. Let me just give you a little snapshot of what they've done here in California with the Hispanic community. They go, first of all, they start with their message of, you know, we're for the vulnerable, we're for the poor, we're for you, vote for us. And they'll tell them, you know what, we're going to give you a little car seat, we're going to give you some Similac. If you have a baby, we're going to give you some cheese. We're going to give you a voucher for transportation. We're going to give you. But you got to keep that bad job. You got to keep that lower end job that you have in order for us to keep giving you. That's been the mantra in California, Dom. So the question is, the Hispanic community finally woken up and says, we don't want any of that. We want to be free. We want a better job. We want a good education. We want to be safe at home. And they're finally figuring it out that that's the Republican Party, that's Donald J. Trump that's offering you that. Because the Democrats say they're for the poor, but what they fail to tell people, Dom, is that they will keep you poor. They will keep you poor for the rest of your life. That's what they do. It's what they've done in California. And I'm speaking from the heart because I've had a front row seat to Kamala Harris in California. She has been a liberal's liberal. And all I can tell you is that for you to be more liberal than Bernie Sanders says a lot.
Yeah,
Bernie Sanders is. Yeah. Bernie Sanders made it very. Yeah.
Lieutenant Governor, let me ask you, do you think it's true now, the commentator there was Mexican-American? We often see the most visible to me, you would know better being in elective office in California, are Cuban Americans because of where they're coming from that fit family, business, freedom. Do you think this is true across the board with Latinos, or are there some groups that are more knowing, to the Ronald Reagan quote, that they are Republicans?
I think it's been a battle. The Republican Party hasn't done a good job, Dom, of getting the message out to Latinos. President Donald Trump has done a better job, but let me tell you what the old Republican Party used to do. They would have a mariachi show up and they'd serve tacos and think that the Hispanic community was going to just gravitate to them.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. That's the old message. Donald Trump has made a different message. Donald Trump is, when I was in office, your groceries were lower, your rent was lower, you could afford a mortgage, you can afford a car payment, and you were safe in your home. So for the first time in my life, Dom, I'm 58 years old, and we have an opportunity to vote for two economies, for two directions. We can go Donald Trump's direction, we've lived under it, or we can go the Kamala Harris direction, we've lived under it. So it's an easy decision for Latinos in America. They want Donald Trump back in office. They want to feed their family. They want to dress their family. They want to have that little extra dollar on Sunday to go maybe have a dinner somewhere. Today, they don't have any of that, Dom. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have destroyed the economy for Latinos, and they want change. This is a change election. Kamala Harris is continuity.
You left office, I should have mentioned this for listeners, as lieutenant governor the same day that Kamala Harris became the attorney general. You were lieutenant governor with the Terminator. So Harris, I think, has done a skillful job, because when you have nothing and you can make it, with the help of the media, appear to be vaguely something about how tough she was as attorney general, particularly on cartels and the border. You were actually there just getting out of office. What did you see?
Actually, Dom, I was there. I was in the state Senate for 6 years.
Okay.
So I had a front row seat to Kamala Harris when she was a DA and Attorney General and U.S. Senator. And, Dom, let's just be very, very blunt about this. Kamala Harris has never cared about the border. She just doesn't care about the border. And when she says she's a prosecutor or she's the top cop as Attorney General, she doesn't add, and her campaign doesn't add, she was a prosecutor from San Francisco. And when you're a prosecutor from San Francisco, you're a totally complete prosecutor. If you're from Texas, prosecutor, or from, the outskirts of Pennsylvania, prosecutor, she just doesn't care, Dom. She's never cared. So this going to the border last week was just to check the box off. That's all she does. And this notion of not talking to the press, that is vintage California, Dom. Kamala Harris has done that her whole life. Don't talk to the press. Don't take questions by the press. Actually, it gets better. In California, you send an email to a reporter and you say, what's your question? And then I will respond via email. Well, that works in California, but that does not work in swing states. And that's her problem. She hasn't figured it out yet. And I believe that soon they're going to let her loose because they're going to know they're losing, and it's going to get worse for them before it gets better. Because how could you want to be president of the biggest, economy of the world and not take a question for a reporter? Hell, people that run for school board go to forums. They answer every question. People that run for mosquito boards answer questions. Now you want to be the president and you don't want to answer a question?
Wait a minute. You guys have a mosquito board in California? Do you have mosquito boards? That job? That's a good job.
Absolutely. And it probably pays 50, 60, 70 grand in California. What are you talking about, Tom? I mean, come on.
Abel, if I might ask, too, because you're so in tune with all that's going on here. I'm a former teacher, so the issue of school choice, and Trump talked about it again the other day, I particularly think with Black and Latino parents, and maybe Latino a bit more, that should be a game changer. What should Republicans do around that issue? What are they not doing, I guess?
I think President Trump has made it very clear. That's the most important thing, that he is for school choice. He is for reforming education. He doesn't like the Department of Education because what they've done to our schools and to our children. And I think Latinos have finally figured out, the teachers' unions here in California, I'm not going to speak for Philadelphia or Pennsylvania because I'm not there, but in California, their biggest black eye is that they protect bad teachers. You have a bad teacher and they just move them to another school district. Well, guess what school district they send them to? They send them to Latino school districts because they know Latinos are hard workers and they're not going to complain and so forth. So they just dump them there. And guess who gets hurt? Latino children. So guess who's waking up all of a sudden saying, wait a minute, why are you dumping bad teachers in my district? My kids deserve a good education as well. And there's only one person that's pointed it out, Donald J. Trump. He's been honest. He's not a politician. He's a business guy. And, yes, he was president for 4 years, but I still don't consider him a politician because he doesn't act like a politician. He tells it how it is. He's up front. Whether you like it or not, he'll tell you what his feelings are, and he wants to make this country better, not only for Americans, but for everybody. And that's why the Latinos are coming out in droves in support. They've said enough. I'm going to give you a quick snapshot. I was at a butcher shop the other day, Dom, where it's a Latino supermarket. And this lady comes up to me and she says, "Are you Mr. Maldonado?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She says, "I'm happy you're voting for Trump, and I'm happy you're working for Trump." And I said, "Why would you say that?" Of course, my brain went into, you're not going to support him. Why would you say that? She said, "You see that man right there, that butcher?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Under Trump, I used to buy 3 pounds of meat. Under Kamala, I buy $10 worth of meat, and I can't feed my family."
Yeah, exactly.
And that said it all to me, Don. That said it all to me, why President Donald J. Trump is strong with minority people in America. He understands them, he feels their pain, and he's going to change America.
Hey, we want to win. We need Abel Maldonado. My producer and I are just giving a high five here. We didn't know that much about you until now. We need you on TV. We need you all over the place. Come on.
Dom, I got to tell you something. I'm not doing this for any other reason than to save my country. And to be very sincere with you, Dom, my vote doesn't count. And it bothers me every single day because California is blue, it will be blue, and it will be blue tomorrow. So if I can get the message of who Kamala Harris is to people's states where their vote really matters, I'm going to do it, and that's what I've been doing every single day.
Well, we want to hear from you again. We really, really enjoyed talking with you today, Abel. Thank you.
Thank you, Dom. We'll be in touch.
All right, so, pull back the curtain. Dan and I saying, well, this guy's former lieutenant governor, Terminator, knows Harris a little bit. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was great. A lot of color in his stories.
A lot of color,
yes.
He's
a really
exactly.
Good guy, yeah.
So why are Latinos, why are union members? There's no doubt. We had that was one of the gets of the last couple months, getting Bill Hamilton on. I even gave him a shout-out on Inside Story, the Teamster guy. They're moving toward Trump. Again, I'm a realist, though, not just putting on rose-colored glasses here. Trump needs to get these people in the suburbs right here where we are. I think they're kind of undecided at this point. And you can holler at them all that you want. You can get mad. I only have one goal. Get them over the finish line to our side. All right, phone lines Our 855-839-1210. Give me your reaction to that. So Latinos now want to be white adjacent also. That's why they're moving toward Trump. That's always the argument. Hey, cap off the NFL Week 4 slate with a chance for a big W on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place that first $5 bet on tonight's game. Geno Smith over passing yards. The guy's on fire. DK Metcalf, anytime touchdown. All right, Henry, what's your surefire tonight? We go to you for this. Lot riding on it. Give me one.
Tyler Huntley over in passing yards.
Ooh, I like it.
Who the heck is Tyler Huntley?
He is the
Former
starting
Pro Bowler.
Yeah, starting quarterback for the Dolphins tonight.
Oh, my. What Pro Bowl?
He's the guy that filled in for Lamar Jackson on the Ravens, remember? Everyone else was like either sick, injured, or opted out of the game.
How's he a Pro Bowler?
Because everyone opted out or got sick or whatever, so he ended up being in the
You know what? That's a scandal beyond belief.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't believe
no.
in America
Merit-based, Dom. They just went down the list a couple.
How many will we have to go down before I have my shot at the Pro Bowl, even though not playing and throwing 40 yards? Okay. Just visit. That's with Tyler Huntley, Pro Bowler. The guy shouldn't put that on his resume.
You watched, Dom. Henry's right.
Okay. All right. Over yards tonight, you're saying. All right.
Yes.
You betting on that?
I will, yes.
Okay.
I'll probably throw in a Tyreek Hill over 100 yards and a touchdown.
How about Waddle?
Yeah, why not?
He's not doing as much.
Yeah, because he has Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, Skylar Thompson's throwing the ball. I trust
okay.
Now he's got a Pro Bowler, Dom.
Oh, my God. Just visit FanDuel.com/Dom to make every moment more of this season. That's why I don't like fantasy football. Ro and I are just riding with the same team. We're just letting it go. We won 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, how's your fantasy going?
I think we won 2 weeks in a row.
Look at you, Dom. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, completely idiotically. I don't even know.
I think you have Waddle, don't you?
Yeah, yes, I think we do.
Yeah, that's why you know
I'm talking him down. So visit FanDuel.com. Take Henry's advice on this, /Dom. FanDuel.com/Dom. FanDuel Sportsbook, official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
This month, Talk Radio 1210's Veteran Spotlight salutes U.S. Army veteran Rebecca Cornell. Hi, Nick here. Join us this Wednesday morning as we shine a spotlight on this outstanding local veteran in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation, celebrating their remarkable commitment to community service and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. Our Veteran Spotlight is Wednesday morning on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa classic hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
Window Nation presents the 1210 WPHT Veteran Spotlight in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation. Listen the first Wednesday of every month as Kale and Company shines a spotlight on a local veteran, highlighting their remarkable commitment to the community and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. At Window Nation, there's nothing more important than giving back to the communities we serve. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever, overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
Hi, this is Joe Mederchik, PNC Bank Regional President. People ask us, is PNC just a boring bank? Well, that depends. Is starting a business boring or being the first person in your family to go to college? For nearly 160 years, we've done the hard and occasionally boring work of banking to deliver brilliant results to our clients. To see what boring banking can do for you, stop into any of our local branches right here in the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
Hey, Southampton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
All right, Tom Giordano's show. So President Trump is in Valdosta, Georgia. Even though Joe Biden's not going there, he said he was told he'd be disruptive, I'm sure, if he went there. And Kamala Harris, no place to be found. So this is an interesting dynamic. It's so bad what's happened there. And the relief does not appear to be urgent like we are with, Ukraine. But it's not just Georgia, it's North Carolina, which in the end, I don't think is in doubt. And this weekend, most people coming back to make the point that we're seeing more and more signs that Trump is very solid in Pennsylvania. Trafalgar, who called it in 2016, they have it now. Trump, if election held today, likely voters, 47.5, Harris, 45.3. So this is all within the range of the poll not being accurate, certainly. It's going to be closer than that when we get to Election Day. And in the end, I think this will go to form, and Pennsylvania is going to decide. So Linda Kearns, who you heard on with Dawn today, is persistent, and I appreciate that. I'm going to be doing a Zoom call with volunteers on Wednesday night, just trying to stoke them up. And she is great because she was very particular in what she wants to tell volunteers versus just the usual vote for Trump stuff that's out there. So Pennsylvania, again, will be the determinant. Hard to see anything else that's going to happen that will change that. All right, upcoming, though, as we get ready tomorrow night for the VP debates, many people over the weekend saying, thank God, Emhoff and Tim Walz are redefining what it means to be masculine.
Oh.
I'm looking to see out there if
Tim
there's anybody.
Walz, really?
Yeah. Man or woman that were, the one impregnated the nannies. So there's that. Is that, this was with Jen Psaki mainly. Why are they doing this? We'll explain. But what credibility is here that says this is masculinity? Let's move toward Tim Walz. 839.
Every time you enter a room, you have to enter like Richard Simmons.
Yes.
Waving both hands.
Yes,
Yeah.
and screaming, mind your own damn business. How you doing? Mind your own damn business, Henry. Get out of my way. 855-839-1210.
You're driving along when you realize...
Oh, I've got to get over. Oh my gosh, sorry.
You didn't see him, did you? He was in your blind spot. You can also have a blind spot when it comes to your retirement. That's where Joe Yakovich of JML Financial Group comes in. He knows about a little blind spot called taxes. Social Security, your pension, your investments, all can be taxable. Look, you don't want to end up saying,
Will I be writing huge checks to the government when I retire?
Don't get blindsided by taxes. Make sure your retirement plan has a tax plan with one call to JML Financial Group, 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. JML Financial Group does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding for years now. I just love my new patio doors and love the work the Chapman family team has done in my home. You know by now, if I needed windows, doors, or siding, I would only trust the Chapman team. If you're thinking of updating your front entry door, right now is the perfect time for it. For the entire month of September, Chapman is offering free hardware on a new front door, up to a $500 value. An updated front door can really change the curb appeal of your home and obviously increase the resale value. Whether you're looking for a single door, double door, or maybe a door with beautiful side lights, their experienced project consultants can help you choose that perfect new door for your home. If you or somebody you know is looking for windows, doors, siding, shutters, or hardware, give them a call. You can text 610-431-8898. You can always take an online virtual tour, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Chapman, the name I trust. Tell them Dawn sent you.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. Just
and of course, we've got the owner of the Newtown Athletic Club and one of the MVPs of the Trump campaign, Jim Worthington. Thank you, Jim.
Okay. All right, J.D. Vance over there on Saturday. the CBS debate tomorrow night says they will provide real-time fact-checking of the proceedings. Now, this is even worse, I think. Oh, boy, I didn't see this part till just now they released this. The CBS News confirmed unit consisting of forensic journalists.
Oh, no.
Whenever you hear that term forensic, forensic accountants, it's always overstated that they can do anything to...
Call it into CSI, Dom.
Yes, they can reconstruct. And data experts will be verifying claims and addressing misinformation on a live blog, on social media, and in post-debate coverage on the network. All right, here's the problem with that. I would rather we do it right there rather than this, because we know where this is going to go. How in the world are these people going to be arbiters of a lot of this stuff? And then the candidate, be it Walz or Vance, has no opportunity to rebut it, try to put it into context. It will all be these pesky pencil pushers telling us, and I guess, Dan, they could do this almost literally. You could have 100 of these points during an hour-and-a-half debate, maybe 200, that people are going to have to decide the accuracy of what they're saying. I mean, who's going to be involved in this? So I was saving this. I thought they were going to not fact-check, but that's how they're going to do it. They think institutionally now we ought to go with this because this is scientific. Here's John Kerry over the weekend, and this is where this bias comes in. He was talking to the World Economic Foundation, or Federation, I think it's Foundation. He doesn't like the First Amendment. You have these guys like John Kerry, they don't like the new world of talk radio, of Drudge, of Fox News, of gazillion podcast. They think people are not getting accurate information. Their definition of it is what the establishment says, the uniparty, and then what the three networks, which are now a gazillion networks. Listen to what he wants to return to, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what CBS is. This is worse in some regards. I'd rather have the exchange. They say to Vance, that's not true. Vance can answer. Same thing with Walz, live, right there. The problem is, when you do this fact-checking, you could do this every 10 seconds. I mean, what kind of job? I've moderated 20 debates. And in some, they told me to intervene in these things. One day was a Republican debate to find the worthy candidate to run against Bob Casey Jr. Was over at the Union League. So I forget, I'm trying to remember the thread of the question. If Casey says this, what will you say? And the guy gave me a non-answer, and I looked him in the eye and said, that's a non-answer. Right away, right in the beginning of it. Because they wanted me to toughen up the Republican candidates to go against Casey. And in the room, there was like, oh, my God, you can't say that's a non-answer. What are you doing here? Now, I wouldn't do that in other debates. But here's Kerry. He doesn't like it that we're not listening to the big media.
And I think the dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing. And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue. It's really hard to govern today. You can't, there's no, the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact are kind of, been eviscerated to a certain degree. And people go, and then people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. And then you just get into a vicious cycle. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the 45, 50 years I've been involved in this. And there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, some accountability on facts, et cetera. But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and, has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence. So What we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully having, winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change.
All right, Dan, we got enough here. So he doesn't like the First Amendment. Who are the referees? The referees, he wants to go back to the days we only had the big three, NBC, ABC, CBS. And whatever they said was a fact. Living in that, he was exactly right. That's what people said. Well, that's factual. The Philadelphia Inquirer says it. It's a newspaper record. New York Times says it. There were a very limited number of voices out there. And then along came talk radio. And in the beginning, it was not necessarily challenging those, but it's reached that level today. Along came social media, Fox News Channel. It's not a bad thing. Well, we can't get consensus, meaning he can't get his way to tell you the way the world should work. Now, not too far away from where we are, RFK Jr. is in town today. I think he's doing two things. One, he's over at the Jewish History Museum tonight. And I'm thinking about RFK Jr. and when did all this come to a head? When did this stuff that Carrie's talking about and information, disinformation, some of it, Trump in 2016 started this nonsense on the other side. But you know what really did it? COVID. And again, we still have not had a reckoning of what we learned from COVID, what we didn't learn, what's factual. I don't know that we could get agreement on that. One thing that's factual is we shouldn't have stayed out of school the amount of time that we did. That was due to teachers' unions and other forces. And look at the result. Kids are so far behind today, there is no doubt about how far, and they're not going to recover given the current situation that's there. And if we got another COVID scare or something like that, you're going to have people that want to replicate the same thing. So it was a COVID reckoning that really brought this home, and they really don't like that. Now, look, there were any number of people, just because they differ with whatever the establishment position was, doesn't mean they're not a nut. You had to make your own decision throughout this. And we sorted through any number of things about things that you might take if you had COVID, about who's vaccinated, should they be vaccinated, should they not be able to serve. Just think of the endless loop of those things. Saying we've arrived at any consensus, though, is pretty hard. 855-839-1210. Who are the referees that he's talking about here? And this is slanted toward what the media used to be. Now, we're going to get Bill O'Reilly on probably Wednesday. How's that going, Henry? Is he booked yet? Or
Wednesday at 12:15.
There you okay, 12:15. All right. So to break down the debate, but I'm going to ask him about this John Kerry stuff. He's an independent guy. You got Bill O'Reilly. You have Megyn Kelly out there. How is this a bad thing? Who is the gold standard? Who do you go to? Well, each individual has any number of sources they might go to. Now, Kerry's right in that you're not going to have this proclamation from on high. But again, back to COVID. How many of the things that were said were just not so, or they're pretty mixed? So all this to say, so Dan, I'll ask you first, and Henry, do you see the upside of this? Should there be no fact-checking? I would tell you, as somebody that's done this, there shouldn't be fact-checking. But what the moderator ought to do, and I'll admit it, what I try to do, I want to set the two of them at each other. I really do. I mean, this is a cage match. I want the two of them to go after each other. And once I see they've settled the skill of the moderator on an issue of importance, I'm not going to say we have to move on to North Korea now. If it took 90 minutes on the economy, I'll let them kill each other on it. That's what I want.
I'm a fan of fact-checking as long as it's guaranteed that the fact-checking will be fair to both sides. So like, we're talking CBS here. Are they going to fact-check Kamala as much as they're going to fact-check Donald Trump? We know they're not going to.
I don't think anybody can do it. I don't think you can. I mean, we all have our own bias. You think you could do it?
Unless you're fact checking every single answer, no. It's like either
imagine a sentence.
Yeah, all or nothing. But they're gonna have 20 experts on it, so maybe that's what they're gonna do is just fact check every single thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like New York Times. What they do is they have like live updates for trials where they have it kind of bump with different names, adding in different things, and I could see them doing that for each individual
I'll be fact-checking. It'll be a live Twitter thing I'll be doing, but it's biased beyond belief. It's just me. Who knows what I'll say on this?
I used to work at a small station down the shore, though, a 5,000-watt station, so like a tenth of the size of the one that we're currently on. And they used to have local candidates on, and they did a style of debate. The great Pinky Kravitz was one that did it down the shore, where they would have people face off and ask one another questions and follow-up questions, and Pinky was just there to essentially take callers and guide the show, and they essentially let the candidates go at one another for the entire hour. That's the way I think debates need to be done, and then afterwards, that's when you have the fact checks out there for those that want to go look it up.
Oh, okay. The post fact check, you weigh in after.
I think it's fair. Like if New York Times wants to fact check something, or if someone wants to go look at it, sure. But the whole live thing, I think you let things play out, let them go at one another, and then let the listeners determine who they like.
Now, this is pretty cumbersome. What I would say is, though, Dan, even in the post, if the New York Times says, well, here's this, but this other, you have a conservative voice that says this about it, even in the post, even when it's calm, I don't know what you can rule on that. There's very few things that came up during that debate.
How about this? What if CBS put their little QR code, which they're going to have flashing on screen that you can scan to get the fact check? What if they brought in one surrogate from the Trump campaign, one surrogate from the Kamala campaign, and allowed them full control of the fact checking and let them, take over however they want to spin it. Take two people from the spin room from one side and put them in there.
Pretty good. I would tag in Tom Cotton if I'm the Trump people. Just saying.
If
right
you
out
do
of the
that,
box.
if you have
He's
a surrogate from both sides, they should have it be like America's Got Talent, and they have a big buzzer in front of them.
I love it. Yes.
Slam it, hit a big red X when something.
And then they get the golden buzzer when they hit immigration for the Republicans.
Yeah, but a lot's on the candidate, and Trump failed at that. When she started going off on Charlottesville, he should have butted in at the end of that whenever his mic was on and said, that's it, I'm not going forward. That's a lie. Everybody knows, even Snopes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Henry, what would you do?
Yeah, I'm a big just let everything be said. Don't fact check it in real time, and let the public decide what's real and what's bull. Like plain and simple. You don't have to fact check it after. Just let the information out there. Let the people decide. Both candidates could be lying straight through their teeth. That's okay. That's for people to figure out, hey,
what did
that
I
guy's
tell
lying.
you guys at the beginning? No booing or hissing.
The other thing is, I don't know who decides only 90 minutes. I mean, this is important. The stakes are this high. The TV ratings are there. Are they going to get Murder, She Wrote? Is CBS going to put that on and get a bigger number if we go another half hour?
They should just block out an entire 12 hours, and whoever gives up first loses.
Yes, you know me. That's the type of debate I want.
They're going to be going up against playoff baseball here, so we'll see who the big draw is.
Okay, Walls against playoff baseball. Well, I know the debates brought historic numbers the last time around, so I'm not sure who wants only do 90 minutes of this stuff. But
you think J.D. Vance is shaking in his boots from all the testosterone from masculine Tim Walz?
Yes, that's what is Walz going to wear, and how soon is he going to say it, and what masculine men will they have there in the front row?
Yeah.
My God. All right, 855-839-1210. So this is their fact-checking style here. You heard John Kerry. Again, we want people the candidates got to protect themselves. No one should be jumping into the ring. Candy Crowley famously did that, the Obama-Romney debate, saying Romney wasn't saying what was true about Russia. And Obama was on the ropes on it. But she jumped right into the ring, and that's what the temptation is here. So we'll see with the two females that are running this, what they do on it. 855-839-1210, which gets back, and we could have a million answers on what's a credible source. Okay? You want to go to Alex Jones or something like that? Okay, go right ahead. You know the history, you know some of that. Joe Rogan, that's a great source.
That's a great source,
Yeah. But there's many sources out there that are certainly credible to most people other than just the big three networks. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. You can jump in, hit us on the Florida thing, And this is a consequential VP debate because I think there's a real opportunity here for Vance. And he's going to have to deal with the weird stuff and all that. But Vance, on the stump, what he's been doing is taking media questions at a rally, like he did the other day at Jim Worthington's place. And that really sets him apart. He, more than even Trump on this, is actually doing it live in front of people. Not easy to do because you know they're going to come after him. 855-839.
Wait, a friend did get a question, and you want to hear that real
yes.
quick? First. Next question.
Senator Linda Stein, Delaware Valley Journal.
Oh.
I was wondering, you and Donald Trump have promised us peace and prosperity. However, Israel is bombing Hezbollah now, and of course the war in Ukraine continues. What do you think is going on in the world? What will you do about it?
Okay. I thought that you were going to bring on thank you, Linda. They didn't boo her. Thank God. They booed the Inquirer woman, apparently, though. Damn.
Oh, really? Let me see if I can find that. Oh, that'd be great to play back, yeah.
And she was trying to throw him off by saying, well, tell us, how are you actually going to deport these people? We've been through that here a little bit. All right, so I think this is a worthy debate tomorrow night. It's the one chance for people to see these two together. Vance has found his footing. I'll admit it, though. At least Stefanik on the other day, I really liked. And I'm sure she has things that they would bring up, go after her. I saw on Twitter the savagery of people going after her because she posted some of it. Not my people, but around the country. And it tells me she would be formidable, I think. I don't know why she wasn't in the final mix, but Vance has found his footing here. And I think is going to do well tomorrow night. And without the fact-checking, I would kind of like to see them try to fact-check. 855-839.
I think I found it, Dom.
Okay, here we go. The Inquirer reporter, and they're all trying not to debate with Vance or Trump about the need to deport people. They think they have Republicans on. You're not going to be able to do this. We challenge you. How are you going to get these people out of the country?
Next question.
Hi, Senator Vance. I'm Fallon Roth from the Philadelphia Inquirer.
That's all right. Let's let her ask her question, and then we can boo afterwards if it's a ridiculous question.
And she asked about the deportation. Yeah, let's hear the question. Yeah.
This is your first stop in the Philly suburbs. Why did you choose Bucks County? And how can Republicans win back the suburbs in 2024 after President Trump lost in 2016 and 2020?
Well, I think there are a few things. First of all, look, we're going to make an argument to every Pennsylvanian. And I understand why you're asking the question, because you're looking at the demographics of politics, but I don't believe in this segmentation of urban, suburban, rural. We're all Americans, and Donald Trump and I are going to fight for every single vote. But look, if you look at the issues that really matter to folks here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, you hear the same things, whether it's in Bucks County or whether it's in a much more rural part of Pennsylvania or whether it's in downtown Philadelphia, where I have spent a lot of time. In all these places, you hear three big concerns. One is public safety, one is the cost of everything, and the third is the wide open southern border.
All right. That's a good answer, Dan, in this, but I think you and I'm kind of shaking my head. He can't answer it, though, that they have to drill down differently in the suburbs. Abortion seems to be the only thing that matters out there in the suburbs, apparently. And mean tweets. What are you going to do about the tweets? You would think in Bucks County, all those things are the same issues as any place else in Pennsylvania. 855-839-1210. It looks like Israel is going to invade. The word is imminent. Lebanon. And once they do that, that is a pretty widespread war that will ensue, wider than even before. All right, your calls are next. Jump in on Talk Radio 1210.
Your weeknights are getting a whole lot better. Starting Monday, October 7th with Jimmy Fallon, 7 to 10 p.m.
I met Diddy. Diddy had a restaurant, and he used to walk around with a bottle of champagne in his hands, which is a little weird. You know what I'm saying? If the guy who's the proprietor is drinking straight out of the bottle, it makes you wonder if the Board of Health has some reservations.
And Walter Sterling, 10 to 1.
I hate tolls. I don't believe in them charging $1 more to go over the river. What the hell is that about? What did I get for that going from $5 to $6? These are criminal events.
Listen weeknights starting October 7th on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And that team is Dr. Molly Fantasia and the medical staff at Innovative Medical Associates. Yes, cancer is a scary word and a difficult condition if you've been diagnosed. Over the years, the staff at Innovative Medical Associates has helped hundreds of patients with their unique medical hydration protocols. Cancer support is a large part of the practice at Innovative Medical Associates.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Talk about improving your quality of life. Most likely, that'll happen when you visit Innovative Medical Associates. Check them out on the web at innovativemedicalassociates.com or call 856-489-0505 to schedule your initial complimentary consultation.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey supported sanctuary city policies that let criminal illegal immigrants onto our streets instead of deporting them. Casey voted over and over again to fund sanctuary cities, making our neighborhoods less safe. After an illegal alien was arrested for domestic assault in Philadelphia, instead of deporting him, they let him go. Thanks to sanctuary city policies Bob Casey supported. That same criminal, released under the radical policy Casey voted for, went on to repeatedly rape a 5-year-old girl. It could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. But Bob Casey failed us. The U.S. attorney said this young girl was raped because of Philadelphia's sanctuary city policy. Bob Casey voted over and over for this madness, putting our families, our children, at risk. We've had enough of Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, it is Dom time. Welcome in, 855-839-1210. So this VP debate tomorrow night is going to be of consequence, without a doubt, more than the usual. Michael Whatley, the head of the RNC, is in the on-deck circle. I want to talk with him, though, about more than the debate. He is from North Carolina and how that is playing out. But let's go to Joyce in Westchester. Joyce, with Dom on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Joyce, afternoon.
Hi, Dom. I got to thinking after you played the John Kerry recording about what we hear and what we're going to be allowed to talk about. And I'm a pretty old person and remember Walter Cronkite years and years ago And that was the turning point I remember reading and seeing in something like a documentary when Walter Cronkite shared a mild opinion about the Vietnam War. It sort of turned tables. And from that time on, I think there's been somewhat of a degrading of accurate news. And this is what I hear. And I mentioned to someone before I spoke to you, I was an English major in college, and you need to turn your ears on for this kind of bias. All the legitimate stations, so-called, Nora O'Donnell, David Muir, those people who are supposed to deliver hard facts, use adjectives when they speak. And as soon as they put an adjective in front of what they're telling us, they are implying an opinion. It's so subtle, it's like boiling the frog, but it's happening, and it's wildly used now. Even the moderators are, when they speak, are using adjectives. So anytime you hear something like a descriptive word in front of a phrase that's supposed to be hard facts, and this is an important time for us to know the facts, be questioning what you're hearing, because someone's boiling the frog slowly.
Thank you, Joyce. Yeah, well, the Cronkite, Vietnam is a turning point. But what Carrie wants to go back to, he used the word referees. Who would the referees be? And again, jumping into the ring and fact-checking during any of this, that's where Trump really had the opportunity to go after David Muir. That was, and I think Vance would have. And I think tomorrow night, if there's any of that, he will. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. We'll talk with Michael Watley about North Carolina versus Ukraine. All the money spent, all the care over that. No Biden, no Harris there in North Carolina today. The former president in Georgia. The ICE report, the VP debate, and 855-839-1210. That's how you jump in. Hey, how are your cholesterol levels? Managing healthy cholesterol is the key to a strong heart and overall wellness. For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted ally in helping people reach their cholesterol goals. I've counted on Rescue for years, and with good reason. Their range of supplements is designed to meet your specific needs, from omega-3s to red yeast rice and more. Take charge of your heart health today. Use the code DROP at checkout to double your order on any cholesterol product for free. Reach them at 800-26-ALIVE. That's 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use that code online when you visit res-q.com. res-q.com. Remember, just use that code DROP, D-R-O-P, to buy one, get one free on Rescue Cholesterol products. Double up your cholesterol support today. Use the code DROP at res-q.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at the Sellersville Theater in Sellersville, PA. Saturday, November 1st with Norm Clark and Vince Valentine. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having two fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Due at inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees, but in New Jersey, the C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
I'm Jalen Hurst here for Window Nation. It's time to call an audible. These high utility bills are getting out of hand. Make your home cozy with new windows.
Right now at Window Nation, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There's no limit on how much you could save. Plus, you could save big with no interest or payments for 24 months. Call Window Nation today to schedule your fast, free in-home estimate or visit windownation.com.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
The dreary conditions remain in the forecast for the first half of the work week. Clouds today with a shower possible. Still mild with a high 73. Tonight, clouds continue with a chance for a shower, low 60. And another cloudy day on Tuesday with a shower possible, high 71.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
See you next summer. All right, Dom Giordano Show. Just one comment before we go to RNC Chairman Michael Watley. Rudy Giuliani used to say, I remember with 9/11, nice to go to the weddings, but you have to go to the funerals. And Harris and Biden have just forgotten the playbook here. I don't care whatever else you're doing. When you see this type of devastation, you have to instantly go here. And let's face it, politically, these are 2 swing states. Well, I don't count North Carolina as a swing state, but Georgia, definitely. Let's go to Michael Watley from North Carolina. Sorry about that, Chairman. I know how capable you are, and I know you're going to go to the last second, but we're going to win North Carolina, right?
We are going to win North Carolina. Feel very, very good. We were the only state that Donald Trump carried out of the battlegrounds in both 2016 and 2020. And feel like we've got a fantastic ground game and really happy with the polling that we're seeing out of there.
So out there today, some voices, I'm one of them, saying, well, look at this, billions more toward Ukraine. Biden can get animated for that, Harris a bit, and yet they seem distracted, not exactly on top of this historical storm that we've seen in places like Georgia and certainly North Carolina.
Yeah, it's the catastrophic nature of this damage is really stunning, and I think that we truly don't know the true magnitude of it yet. Just to see the way that the neighborhoods, the communities are pulling together to try and help each other is really powerful. But this is horrific, and the fact that President Trump is on the ground. That he is working hard to try and make sure that we've got relief supplies going into the areas. When Joe Biden was asked if we're going to be providing additional aid to the states and said, no, we're doing it, they're not going to get anything else. That honestly is a horrific answer. And it's one that I think is just not going to withstand the test of time.
I agree with you. Here's a little bit of the president, Chairman, to that point when asked, why are you and Harris both should have been in Washington commanding this? Here's what he said.
On the hurricane, Mr. President, why weren't you and Vice President Harris here in Washington commanding this weekend?
I was commanding. I was on the phone for at least 2 hours yesterday and the day before as well. I commanded. Call a telephone. And all my security people.
Is it not important for the country to see?
Yeah, he's walking out of the room at that point. Look, you at least have to put the pretense of being in Washington connected to this and get there on the ground, and that's where President Trump is. Let's talk about the VP debate tomorrow night, Chairman. We were just getting from CBS their version of fact-checking with forensic fact-checkers, but it'll be after the fact. I probably like that less because the candidate won't get a chance to push back, and I think Vance would go after a fact-checker here.
Well, he absolutely would. I think, and he's certainly going to have an opportunity to go after the Waltz, on anything that he's going to put up there. I think, what we saw in his Senate campaign was J.D. Vance very, very strong in the debates that he had there against Ryan. And, look, the facts are the facts. The positions are the positions. Right now, Harris and Waltz are doubling down on their open border policies. They're doubling down on their inflationary spending. They're both saying that they're going to institute the largest tax hikes in the history of the country. So it's not just a matter of having a bad messenger. They have a bad message. And J.D. Vance and President Trump right now are in a very clear position. They're going to shut down the border. They're going to resecure the border on day one. They're going to end inflationary spending and unleash American energy on day one. They're going to make sure that America is strong enough, both at home and abroad, to protect our interests and those of our allies. So, every single issue that matters to the voters right now, we're doing better. J.D. Vance, you could not have a better candidate for VP to articulate the views that he and Donald Trump have. I'm really excited about this debate.
Yes, this will be a consequential VP debate. I don't think any doubt about that. One of the things that the media started to do, Vance was in Bucks County in our neck of the woods, Chairman. They don't want to argue with him about deportation and what President Trump has said. They really want to attack, you can't do any of this. And his answer, and I think this is going to come up tomorrow night from probably the moderators, is we're going to get the criminals out of this. And the ICE report the other day, wow, stunning, even though it's a little bit late, that people inside of ICE released how devastating this is factually.
Yeah, when you talk about tens of thousands of people that are in this country illegally, that are rapists, who are murderers, who are convicted felons, hundreds of thousands of them, it's frankly frightening. Truly, truly scary set of statistics out. And when those numbers landed, you knew immediately this is, the October surprise. This is catastrophic for Kamala Harris, who has stood up on stage after stage after stage and said, we need to abolish ICE, we need to decriminalize border crossings, and we need to grant amnesty and voting rights to every single one of these people. She could not be more out of touch with the real feelings of the American people on this issue.
Latino voters, we've been talking about this because on MSNBC over the weekend, they had a Mexican-American commentator said Latinos are going for Trump because they want to be white. What does the polling and the gut instinct tell us? Economy, of course, but what else is attracting them to Trump in record numbers?
Well, they're coming to Trump because two things. First off, the legal immigrants that we have in this country are absolutely as appalled by illegal immigration as anybody else in the United States. And secondly, when you talk about the inflationary impacts that Kamala Harris's, voting record, she's the one that cast the two tie-breaking votes on $2.5 trillion worth of inflationary spending that sent grocery prices, gasoline prices, and housing prices through the roof. That is very direct impact on Hispanic communities, Black communities, Asian American communities, all communities, right? So it's not a surprise that the Hispanics are coming across to Donald Trump. The last time that a Republican candidate actually got a majority of Hispanic voters was George W. Bush in 2004, and I feel very strongly we're going to go back there this year.
That happens. I don't see how the math adds up for the other side. We're here in Pennsylvania, though, and you're paying particular attention to this. What's happening, volunteers and all that, any events coming up?
Yeah, we've got a lot going on. I think that, you've had President Trump in Pennsylvania. He's obviously coming back on Saturday to go to Butler. So that is going to be a huge opportunity for everybody to see the president. J.D. Vance has been up there. I was just up there in Montgomery County and Harrisburg last week. So we're going to continue to be there for folks that want to sign up. TrumpForce47.com, where they can go and they can sign up. And also the fact that we've got over 200,000 volunteers across the country for our election integrity campaign. People can go to ProtectTheVote.com to sign up and help make sure that all of our elections are going to be easy to vote, hard to cheat.
Absolutely. Chairman, thank you. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you and your listeners.
RNC Chairman Michael Whatley. Tomorrow we'll have Laura Trump on the show and see what kind of updates we're getting around that. If you'd like to volunteer, though, Pennsylvania, you can feel you've done all that you can to try to pull us over the finish line. 855-839-1210. But this ICE report is shocking at this point that they actually came out with it. It's due to a Republican near a border state, Gonzalez, Representative Gonzalez, who provoked this by continuing to push to see the numbers. And as a result, we've seen how staggering they are. You heard what he said about Latino voters. I don't know. Majority going for Trump this time would be shocking. Could we have an election where that happens and let's say Trump gets 18 to 20% African-American voters and people in the suburbs are still going to say no? It's a bizarre situation on the Republican side. Just doesn't make any sense. 855-839-1210. You get on board. All right, batteries plus bulbs. Told you about them for years. My buddy Roy there. 2 big stores he has. Mount Laurel, Route 73, Northfield on Tilton Road. And Roy is, the number one thing is he has fantastic people that know technology. Need an energy audit, need help with your phone or anything that's tech. These are the people. But customer service is what he does. You know, the feeling you get, they're going to teach you whatever it is, so in the future you might be able to take a look at this yourself, just all out. Maybe a sentimental item. Well, people are flocking there, and I'm so happy about this that we've talked about him over the years. So he needs some help. A handy do-it-yourselfer would be ideal. Great low-pressure job, part-time job. If you're willing to do what it takes to help, you need to talk to Roy. Of course, all your battery needs, whatever they may be, tech needs. They power it, they light it, and boy, do they fix it. Again, Mount Laurel and Northfield, and you can call them and tell them what the problem is, and over the phone, get a sense of what can be done. 856-638-0778. Again, if you're looking for that part-time job, low pressure, that you'll be actually doing what you like to do and helping people, and you're good at customer service, give Roy a call right now, 856-638-0778.
Your weeknights are getting a whole lot better. With Jimmy Fallon 7 to 10 p.m. starting Monday, October 7th.
Honestly, I do mean this. What an incredible honor to join this lineup because, like, the thing you guys do that matters to me, you guys know your listeners. You hang out with them, you meet them, you do events. Like, that to me is amazing. That's why I got into radio. Is like, you want to be a part of the community. Like, I'm always on tour doing live events. I want to be part of the community, which is a fancy way of me saying I got to get out of New York a lot because I owe a lot of people money. But the point is, I'll be there.
Jimmy Fallon, weeknights 7 to 10 p.m. starting October 7th on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. They're threatening to close your business. If debt has your business on the brink, call Ray Reynolds, the godfather of credit. For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped thousands of customers get millions in cash credit. It's no wonder why they call Ray the godfather of credit. He may even be able to raise your score above 750 before the end of the year. You could even get a new personal or business credit line up to $50,000 within days. If your credit needs a rebuild, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the godfather of credit rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448.
The following is a paid commercial message.
A lot of congressmen talk about real results, but Brian Fitzpatrick actually delivers for real people like Tom.
I believe that Congressman Fitzpatrick does have his finger on the pulse, does feel the needs of businesses, and recognizes what small businesses mean to Main Street America.
Janice.
I would say 100% that I support Brian Fitzpatrick for Congress. I know that he has our interests at heart. He's just really a man of great integrity.
And Pete.
Congressman Fitzpatrick is very responsive, especially to veterans' needs. I can't think of any other person I'd rather see as my congressman than Brian Fitzpatrick.
Delivering for Pennsylvania. That's Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. Vote on or before Election Day, November 5th. Paid for by America's Credit Unions PAC of Credit Union National Association, Inc., americascreditunions.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. America's Credit Unions PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hey, Clementon. Yeah! We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
WPHT. They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's stand time.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
With Dom.
That's right, it's that time of the afternoon. Producer Dan takes over the Dom Giordano program with some friends, that including Henry Michette. And Dom, today I want to talk about what's to be the greatest movie of all time, the return of Francis Ford Coppola, with Robert De Niro as a star and some other big names. Megalopolis comes to the theaters, Dom. And Henry, your review of Megalopolis, which you saw Friday.
I mean, it says something about America, this movie. What it says, I have absolutely no idea, and I don't think anyone else who watched the movie has any clue either. This was the worst movie I have seen in a long time. I am so disappointed that this is his life's work. I mean, he took a swing for the fences. I don't know what fence he was aiming at, though. Like, this movie was impossibly bad. Impossibly bad. I mean, just poor writing, over-the-top acting to try and correct that. Nothing flows together. Nothing makes sense. Every conflict introduced in the movie is resolved within 30 seconds. Like,
how was the setting? Was that at least
redeemable? No, that might have been the worst
How about
part.
the special effects?
It's so bad. It looked so fake.
Adam Driver as a star? He's supposed to be a good actor.
No one was a good actor in this. No amount of good acting could save this film.
And what was the box office?
It was $1.8 million.
Oh, my God.
On a $150 million budget.
And I think $100 million of his own.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Oh, yeah. Most of it was his own money. And I am sad to say that 15 of my hard-earned dollars went towards that $1.8 million. You want to know how bad this was? There were 6 other people in the theater with me and my friends. 3 of them walked out.
No.
Oh, man.
It was like 2 hours into the movie, I was like, this thing has to be over soon. And I look at my phone, and only 30 minutes have gone by. It was a disaster. I can't believe. I understand why for 40 years he tried to get this made, and every studio at every turn kept going, no, we're not giving you money for this.
So
I get it.
We'll be seeing Godfather 4 now to make up his money back, I guess.
This was his passion project. I give him credit for, I don't know, doing whatever it is he was trying to do here, but man, oh man.
I mean, The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Bram Stoker's Dracula,
The Outsiders,
Megalopolis. So, Dom, the legacy, if it's as bad as Henry makes it out to be, Francis Ford Coppola, is it tarnished?
No. I mean, everybody gets to have something.
Yeah, this was his passion project.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
I mean, he's had a couple that have kind of stuttered there, though, right?
Yeah, but
not like this.
He's got the franchise. The Godfathers are up there as the greatest films ever. 2 of them, anyhow.
Hey, well, you mentioned franchise. Last week, during the announcement of Sherelle Parker's bringing 76ers into Center City, Philadelphia, great idea, by the way, in the Market East section of the city, it was announced that by 2026, Sherelle Parker would like to bring in a WNBA franchise to this city. Dom, your thoughts?
I don't know to be supported. I think Luke and I would go. And 60 Minutes last night did a thing, and in the end, they had to credit all the women of the WNBA versus Caitlin Clark, that 18,000 people are going to their games.
Yeah. You see one of her teammates has put it up that she wants to trade, essentially, and...
Why is that?
I don't know. It could just be contract stuff,
for
all I know. But there's a lot of rumors that Caitlin Clark and a lot of the WNBA players are upset that she's brought a certain type of, quote, new fan to the game that are not treating the other players so nicely.
Oh, you mean the racial part?
Yep.
Yeah. I think some of that's because I think there was racism toward Clark. Some of them might be racist, too.
Henry, what are your thoughts? Do you think sustain a franchise, WNBA franchise here in Philadelphia?
I would absolutely 100% support it. I would go to those games.
Yeah?
I mean, equal rights. We get to boo women, too, right?
There you go.
I mean, we wouldn't accept anything less than their best every game out, right? Am I wrong?
No,
I think it would go great here.
I got one more question for Dom. If the coach of the WNBA team here in Philadelphia turns out to be none other than Dawn Staley, would you still go to every game?
No. Yeah. That's a problem. Yeah.
That's all I got for Dan.
Okay. I don't think she'd do that. She's, rolling.
Pay too much down there. I would think.
Where she is.
South Carolina.
All right. Ray Didinger is coming up. Yesterday, debacle. The Fire Nick watch is on. We have Dom's Money Melody. And we're sorting out today where this North Carolina, Georgia, Florida storm leads us. And I am amazed that Trump's on the ground there. Biden can't summon enough to try to pitch in and help Harris out. Harris is not there either. This type of stuff, and these are swing states, on paper at least. If Trump loses North Carolina, he's not going to win the presidency. I don't see that happening. But Georgia is certainly a bit in play, and that's where Trump is. It's politics 101. All right, Florida, though, is the side question today. Joe in Bordentown. Joe, what do you associate with Florida? Hi.
I go to the left, and that starts acting up.
Okay.
Oh, man.
All right, Joe. Sorry about that.
Up, yeah.
Donna in Malvern, we didn't take this one off. Donna, what do you associate with Florida?
Well, my answer is Florida orange juice. Does it come from anywhere else? But anyway, I just one or two quick thoughts. Number one, I hope that this is not the October surprise. I hope they have something else even better out there waiting for us. And one other thing, Dan, I think last week you were talking about how you love to make the bed before you get in it at night.
Yes, yeah.
I have 4 sons, Dan, and they were all taught to make their bed first thing in the morning when they get up.
There you go. That's a requirement.
And one other thing, Dan.
Yes.
You or Maisie needs to iron the sheets. There's nothing like getting in crisp, freshly ironed, starched sheets.
Do not add that to my obsessive compulsions, please.
Oh, man. Maisie,
It's too much.
Put down that accountant's hat and start, I don't know about starching. Oh, starching the
That's
sheets.
tough. You don't want those hard sheets.
No, I don't want any starch there in the sheet. Ro, yeah, feel free to iron some today, though, when I come home. 855-839-1210, big 2 o'clock hour. You get on board. We might hear from Scott Presler, I think, too, about now he's on to these counties that have a backlog already of mail-in ballots or potentially a problem with that. Luzerne County, sadly, is one of them, and he's calling for transparency before we get anywhere near the election. He's on it. I mean, this is in Pennsylvania going to be as intense. And I have people on Twitter, I wish they would stop. This is not going to be a close election. Trump wins easily. If it's a close election, they cheated. Well, whatever. The bottom line is it's winnable. It's the fourth quarter coming up. It's close. So the question is, are we exerting everything we can to get over the finish line? That's the way I see it. Still a prediction this will be under 1% in Pennsylvania when everything is done. Franklin Graham there with Trump also in Georgia. Nice touch. 855-839-1210.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement, confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Window Nation presents the 1210 WPHT Veteran Spotlight in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation. Listen the first Wednesday of every month as Kale and Company shines a spotlight on a local veteran, highlighting their remarkable commitment to the community and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. At Window Nation, there's nothing more important than giving back to the communities we serve. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-224-8517. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now. 800-224-8517.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-8517. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-224-8517, or go to oxcarcare.com.
The air is cooler, the leaves are changing, and football is back. While the players are making moves on the field, you can make the ultimate move with a beautiful engagement ring from Cozy Jewelers. Still not sure? Hey, the holidays will be here sooner than you think. So stop into Cozy Jewelers and huddle up with Paul Cozy and pick out a custom engagement ring that will make this the most magical holiday ever. Step up to the 5th C. That's color, cut, clarity, carat, and cozy. Cozy Jewelers, located in Newtown Square. Or CozyJewelers.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
That's all-time great theme music. I don't know if the top 10 of anything you're going to find for the NFL. And then the voice of John Facenda. But we have here in Philadelphia that voice of Ray Didinger. And yesterday's Eagles game, already, I would say, significant floodgates. Fire Nick Sirianni.
Get him out.
Forward.
Get him
a lot of guys out. Prime players, three of the most important players other than the quarterback.
Get him out of here.
But not being ready for the heat. What happened to Pickle Juice? Andy Reid. He would have been ready with that.
Before we go to Ray, where do you place the blame? Is it more Sirianni or more Hurts?
Sirianni.
You think it's Sirianni?
This is not a team that's driven to the finest point, I think. That's right. And Hurts, I think, is revealing he's a slightly above average quarterback in that frame, not what we saw a couple years ago. Let's go to the great Ray Didinger. Hey, Ray, welcome back. Good to hear from you today.
Always nice to talk to you, Dom. How are you doing?
Good. So, Ray, is it too early to say Fire Nick is starting to have the Fire Nick watch? I see Marcus Hayes and the Inquirer and WIP and others.
Fire Nick, I'm on board
talking
with
about it.
I guess so. I mean, I was on with Joe DeCamera and John Ritchie this morning, and they were talking about it. They were talking about it. I don't think that's going to happen, and I wouldn't call for it to happen yet. I mean, it's just 4 games into the season. I mean, if your rope on him was really that short, then you probably shouldn't have just brought him back anyway. I mean, if 4 weeks into the season you're ready to fire him, then you were silly to bring him back. That means you really didn't trust your decision to bring him back to first base. But I don't think they're there. I mean, there was a big. I'm sure there was a huge reevaluation of the team and the organization with the way last season ended, which was, there's no other way to describe it. It was a monumental collapse. I mean, they went from 10-1, wound up losing 6 of their last 7, were humiliated in their playoff game down in Tampa. So, I mean, there was a massive shakeup. I mean, they fired the offensive coordinator, they fired both of the defensive coordinators, but they brought the head coach back. So I don't see them firing him now. I mean, some people look at it and they say, well, it's the bye week. You've got 2 weeks to make this change and sort of put your house back in order. Well, have you really? I don't know. I mean, if you and I had this conversation, if you and I were talking at 2:00 last Monday, we would have been saying, boy, how good they played down in New Orleans. How they went down there and they were underdogs, and the Saints were coming off a couple of big wins, and the Saints looked really good, and the Eagles looked really bad against Atlanta, and then they went down to New Orleans and just reversed everything. And now you're here 1 week later, and we're saying just the exact opposite. So I think that's. To me, that's the frustrating part about evaluating this team, Dom, is right now I don't know what they are. A week ago, I kind of thought, yeah, they look pretty good. I mean, they looked really good down in New Orleans, and you kind of thought maybe they had righted the ship, and then they go down to play Tampa, who, frankly, I mean, they're nothing special. They're a nothing special team, really, in my mind, and they just took you apart. So what are they now? I don't know. I really, really don't know, but. I think a lot of the criticism is being directed at the head coach, and I can't say that's unwarranted because clearly that team was not ready to play yesterday, and that was true right from the beginning. And when you can say that, then you're saying, then you really are kind of putting it on the coach.
Little side note, I may be in a minority. I didn't think Tom Brady was that bad as the color analyst. I don't think he's awful. Let's say that.
No, I would agree with you. I think he's pretty good. I think he's pretty good. He's obviously well prepared for it. He's one of those guys that he was not going to go into this and just take it easily. I mean, he was not going to come into this and just go through the motions. I mean, he's a very driven guy, and anything that he does, he's going to try and do it really well. So I know that he really prepared, and he's a smart guy, and he played a lot of football, and he obviously knows the game from the inside out. So I think, I've heard him now twice, and, I think he's pretty good. I know people don't want to give him credit for that, and I know people around here still hate him, and he even kind of laughed about how the people in Philadelphia hate him. But you got to give him his due. I mean, he was a great player, and I think he's doing a pretty good job as an analyst.
Yeah, Ray, and to that point, he even addressed Tampa that when Brady was there was no joy. He was just too driven of a guy, and Baker Mayfield was brought in so that the football team would have joy again. My God, is that an indictment of modern sports, that you would rather have that than be driven by a guy? I mean, I look at afar and think, yeah, that's exactly who I want to be around. Even more, I don't even know if Brady's driven enough.
Well, I'll tell you, they look pretty joyful when they won the Super Bowl with him at quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
They all think they're having a pretty good time that night. And I mean, to me, that's one of the most. Even people who don't particularly like Brady, and even people who are jealous of him and don't like him, and there's a lot of those people out there. You got to give him his due. I mean, he leaves New England and goes to Tampa Bay, and in the first year down there, he wins the Super Bowl. So he's now won more Super Bowls than the guy who was his coach. And I think, for years there was that question, okay, who really makes the Patriots? Is it Belichick or is it Brady? Well, I think you got the answer now. I mean, they both obviously contributed to what that team built and what that team was, and there's no question about that. And, they're both going to be in Canton together at some point. There's no doubt about that. But I think when Brady was able to leave and go to a team, not a particularly great team, but he go to a team in Tampa and in the first year win the Super Bowl, I think that says about everything you needed to know about how great he is.
Ray, Phillies, I mean, you've written a lot, and baseball was your initial thing, coming up in the bar, etc. Again, I see the Phillies at the end not driving to be the number one seed, and we started to hear how long the season is and difficult. I'm not minimizing, even though they make millions of dollars a year. The travel is excruciating and all that. But I just get nervous when I don't see that drive to the end to get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. And, they got off to a historically great start. I mean, the start that they got off to through the first, 2.5, 3 months of the season was the best in the franchise's history. And since then, really since the All-Star break, they've been just pretty average. They've been maybe a 500 team since then. And so if you subscribe to the idea of momentum, and the momentum's important in all sports, they're not coming into the postseason with a heck of a lot of momentum. A couple of the other teams are. The Mets, if the Mets get in, they are. The Padres have finished really strong. Yeah, it's funny. I've seen a number of baseball writers, national baseball writers, doing already looking ahead to the postseason and doing a power rankings thing of ranking the teams as they go into the postseason. And I was actually a little surprised how many of these, and not Philly writers, but national baseball writers, have the Phillies ranked first going into the postseason. Wow. When they're doing the power rankings, they have the Phillies first, the Dodgers second, the Yankees third. That seems to be the consensus. I'm not so sure I'd put the Phillies first, to be honest with you, based on the way they finished. I've thought all year, going all the way back to April. I thought it was going to come down to Phillies Dodgers. I really did. All along, to me, they were the two best teams. To me, it looked like they were on a collision course, and they may still be. If I had to handicap it, I would say that. But I'm a little bit concerned because, Ranger Suarez, who looked like in midseason, looked like he looked like he was on his way to winning the Cy Young Award. Right now, the way he's pitched the second half of the year, I don't have a heck of a lot of confidence in him. Sanchez has never been through this before. They have an absolute ace in Wheeler. I mean, Wheeler's about as good as it gets right now, and he's your number one guy, and you're going to give him the ball in game one, and he's going to go out and he's going to pitch his butt off. I know that. And Nola is a guy that's pitched well for you in big spots, but you got off to that great start this year, largely because you had four really good starting pitchers. You had Wheeler, you had Nola, you had Suarez, and you had Sanchez. And right now, you're going into the postseason, and I don't know that I can count on anybody other than the first two. I mean, Suarez, to me, looks like I don't know if he can get you through the third inning right now. And Sanchez seems like he's a pretty effective pitcher at home, but not so good on the road. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see.
Ray, a lot of Ray Didinger stuff coming up. I know the Biggie, Tommy and Me, People's Light Theater out there in Malvern in January. And you're also doing the greatest moments in Philadelphia sports with Glenn Macnow, of course, and Joe Conklin.
Yeah, we did that for the first time 2 weeks ago out at the Ardmore Music Hall. It was just something the three of us put together. Thought we could have some fun with it. And we went out there and we did two shows and sold out the house both nights and just had a ball. I mean, who doesn't want to relive those moments? I mean, it's just, and it was coming right after that heartbreaking loss to the Falcons on the Monday night game, the game that they basically gave away at the end. I mean, everybody was pretty much down in the dumps after that. So to come out and to have a night where you're out there and you're back watching the Phillies win the World Series and the Eagles win Super Bowl 52 and the Flyers winning back-to-back cups, I think the show did us all a lot of good. I think it really lifted everybody's spirits at a time when they really could need it.
So the next one with Glenn, Joe Conklin, Ray Didinger, greatest moments in Philadelphia sports history, the Players Club of Swarthmore, December 3rd. How did we get tickets, Ray?
December 13th. Yeah, just contact the Players Club of Swarthmore. I think tickets will be on sale shortly. And same thing for Tommy and me at People's Light. Tickets will be going on sale in a couple weeks out there, and we'll be doing Tommy and me out there for the better part of the month. I mean, I think we open January 8th, and I think we go to January 28th. So I think there's like 22 performances. So if folks want to, and it's largely the original cast will be back. And if people have seen the play and want to see it again, this will be your opportunity. And if you've never seen it, again, this will be your opportunity. And I'm really looking forward. I'm really looking forward to doing it again. And People's Light is a really great theater, and we have been in touch with them on and off over the years about bringing the play out there. They wanted us to bring the play out there. We wanted to go out there, but timing-wise, it just didn't quite work. So, but now we finally got it worked out, so we'll have a nice long run there in January, and hopefully, let's cross our fingers, hopefully the Eagles will still be playing.
Hey, Ray, are tickets going to be on sale before Christmas?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
Which I think, that's part of the idea. I think it'll make a great Christmas present. Exactly.
Check that box. Thank you, Ray, very much.
Always a pleasure, Dom. Take care. You and Dan both. Take care.
Right, thank
Bye-bye.
you. And Henry. We have to include that in the future. We'll get a Henry question in there on the docket. Yeah, but we plan to get that for somebody, Dan. So, yeah, a whole month of it.
Great gift.
I've done the panel thing 3 times, I think, at various locations. It's one of a kind. It says a lot about Philadelphia.
You're lucky I couldn't get a question or two in there because I would just pick his brain for the rest of the show.
Oh, yeah. Well,
great guest.
Good stuff. And we'll have Ray on periodically, of course, throughout all this. 855-839-1210. So basically, at this point, you got a swing state. North Carolina devastation, Trump in Georgia, and no sighting of Harris-Biden at this point. Historic devastation, and there with Franklin Graham. All that in states like that is just a constant reminder of a difference here. And with small margins, particularly in Georgia maybe, it was only 13,000 the last time, it matters. All right, well, coming up, though, I want to tell you about Malcolm Kenyatta. This guy's running in Pennsylvania to audit. So think about Treasury auditing. And he's sued by Drexel University for his unpaid tuition, late fees, attorney fees. He's a state senator. And this student loan debt stuff, once again, is out there. How cavalier. This isn't like any other kind of debt. And we'll update you, too, on a couple things as far as voting in Pennsylvania with Scott Presler. All that coming up. But first, it's time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
All right, we're playing for a pair of tickets to a night on the Bayou, celebrating Creedence Clearwater Revival. I think they did this last year, I remember, on October 11th at the Zlock Performing Arts Center. We've had great events there, Rich and I, on the campus of Bucks County Community College. Dan, what do you have?
Yeah, Doms, we're talking about Florida, people associated with Florida. I'm going to take you back to 1994 to the campus of Florida State University, where two students really bonded over the topic of Christian theology, forming a band and later becoming, Dom, listen to this resume, multi-platinum albums, 11 times platinum for one of them, 28 million records, 53 million albums worldwide, the 9th best-selling musical act of the 2000s, Grammy Award winners, huge band, and now completely irrelevant. So, Dom, we want to know who the lead singer is, or you can give me the name of the band, singing here with Santana, doing a cover of CCR, Dom. We want to know who the cover artist is today with that huge repertoire, who started a band back in 1994 on Florida State's campus, leading to huge success. Take a listen. Uh-oh, what's going on here?
All right, I think we got enough, Dan, so we're looking for, again...
the cover artist there.
Okay.
You give me the name of the band that he hails from that was formed on the campus of Florida State when two guys bonded over the topic of Christian theology, formed a band, later becoming Grammy Award winners, 11 times platinum for one of them albums, just huge artists in the 2000s, and now completely irrelevant, Dom.
All right, 855-839-1210, that's how you get in.
Henry's looking at me like irrelevant. What are you talking about there, irrelevant?
They have had a huge resurgence lately.
Oh, okay.
Okay. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you need to do is just push pound 1210, jump in, and you're off to a great event over at the Zlock Theater at Bucks County Community College.
Dr. Marty McCary. First of all, I got to tell you off the record, my kids have lice. Any advice?
There is a good protocol for lice, but it's a lot more common than people think.
So I'm not going to die or anything, right?
You're going to live.
He's a world-renowned surgeon at Johns Hopkins, and you're wasting his time talking about lice.
That seems like the most apt thing to ask a professor of medicine.
Exactly. I loved his answer. He's like, yeah, it's really common.
Like, shut up. Why are you asking me this? My time is valuable.
Rich Zioli, weekday afternoons, 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having two fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40. Each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Do-it inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, this C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
The following is a paid commercial message.
I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in,
They want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make homeownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
Instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
I'm John Oran, Puck's sports correspondent, and I have a new podcast called The Varsity, where I will take you inside the executive suites and owners' boxes that run the entire sports business. Twice a week, I will bring on the smartest people I know to break down the hottest topics in sports media and give you a window into the inside conversations that are happening throughout sports media. So be sure to follow and listen to the Varsity Podcast, available now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It's Dom Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money. Absolutely. All right, let's hear the clue for today. Who is covering this song? Let's go to Gail in Eagleville. Gail's on Talk Radio 1210. All right, Gail, who's covering that song?
Is it Creed, Scott Stapp?
Wow, Gail.
Wow, right out of the box.
Really?
Nicely played. Enjoy this lock, Gail.
I was really hoping to get to the guy that said Hootie and the Blowfish, Tom. It's definitely
Okay.
not Hootie and the Blowfish. But yes, Scott Stapp of Creed, huge success after being founded on this campus of Florida State over Christian theology with Mark Tremonti, who went on and did a great solo thing, had Tremonti his own band. But Henry, you tell me that Creed's made a resurgence now?
Oh, absolutely. Higher, I mean, one of their classic hit songs, has been just trending in the last few months.
You know what I've noticed is at bars, it's almost become the new Journey, Don't Stop Believing, that people always request some kind of Creed song to sing along. So congratulations,
absolutely.
Gail, you win that prize.
Enjoy, Gail. All right, 855-839-1210. A couple things before we talk with Scott Presler and have the lightning round. House Republicans finally, Politico over the weekend, taking new approach on abortion, talking about it. They're running ads, talking directly about abortion, a change from the past approach of largely trying to ignore the issue. You can't ignore it. You can say, and I get it, well, wait a minute. Is this always going to be where we're going to go? You can try to do that. And there's logic to it. Inflation, immigration, the world aflame, obviously. But they're not going to let you. It's unrelenting. And sadly, too many people, if you don't talk about it, think, well, what are you trying to hide? Democrats are talking about it ad nauseum. So it's a twofer. Now, during the debate tomorrow night, I expect this to come up. Vance, of course, will be more on the defensive on this, even though Walz is the one that has the more radical record. And I expect Vance to double down and be able to make that point again and again and again. God knows what the fact checkers will say. But this is an area where they will fact check vigorously. They'll go back to some of the things Vance may have said, take them out of context. But at least Republicans this time around are talking about it. And I could say in the last 2 weeks or so, haven't heard as much abortion talk. What you'll see, though, is as we get down to the last 2 weeks of the election, other than whatever the alleged October surprise is, that will be the theme. That'll be the go-to to try to bring it home. That's where it's always going to go. And a poll out yesterday, I think it was yesterday, it was over the weekend, talks about the share of people 18 to 24, the youngest voters. No, really, 18 to 29-year-olds. poll indicating that they are much more conservative than voters, say, 29 to 35, just above them in age. And what's driving it are young American men who say they identify more with that. The younger generation of men is more likely to identify as conservative than as liberal, says Axios. That is a stunning flip when you take into account age. It's rare for any group of Americans that young to be more conservative than their immediate predecessors. So 26% of men 18 to 24 say they identify as conservative, 5 points higher than the 25 to 29-year-old men. Among women, the younger group is more conservative by 3 points. And the reason for this is, I think, they see the Democrat Party, and we kidded about this early on, out there again, Jen Psaki yesterday, saying, thank God we have the second gentleman and Tim Walz, that we have a new form of masculinity in the country. New form of masculinity. And they know to be a Democrat, a straight white Democrat male, you're an endangered species for a lot of reasons. You really have to be into politics a lot. You may want to be in that field. Maybe that's it. Other than that, you are not going to advance. You got to be like Tim Walz. You got to be like the second gentleman. And I think somehow or another over the course of time, with every policy, with every statement, where we see Democrats going, they sense that. So I'm not sure if they're pro-Trump or just more conservative economically and in other ways. But even that cohort of voters, even young women, are in that camp, not as much as the men. Here's a nice line from this, summarizing this, the polling, and this is a Harvard Kennedy School. This jumped out at me. Youngest members of the group were just 10 years old when Trump was elected president. They see this era as normal. In other words, they don't see it, that word chaotic again. They may look upon it fondly and see it as relatively normal, and they see the upside. They think of Trump as an anti-hero and not a villain. I think it's less about policy and much more about personality. So here's another group. Last week we talked about union members moving toward Trump. Today we talked about Latinos moving toward Trump. We played you this pundit on MSNBC over the weekend saying they're doing that because they want to be white. We had a great guest, former lieutenant governor, who is Latino in California under Arnold Schwarzenegger, breaking that down. Now you have this cohort, 18 to 24-year-olds, gravitating toward Trump, maybe not seeing him as a hero, certainly not as a villain, as an anti-hero, and the personality has broken through. The stumbling block we come back to, though, all those groups that bond with Trump and what he projects, somewhat the policies, looking fondly back upon those years, Latinos, African-American males, union members, and now 18 to 24-year-olds, at least men. It's all there. Mean to say, in the end, though, groups like that gravitate toward Trump. But that personality type, that picture of Trump, is going to be rejected by these moderate, somewhat Republicans, women in the suburbs. They're going to reject that almost completely, sort of like in 2020. We're going to see those numbers again in Bucks, Montco, Delaware, Chester County. Is that what we're going to see? I don't think you're going to see it in the same numbers because I think there is a fondness of sorts looking back on the Trump years. But this poll and these insights, they don't see this as what Trump is tagged with, chaotic. It's normal to them. They were 10 when he was in there. And two, I don't know if they would articulate this. We've had on the young Republicans. They're a little bit older. But they got to clearly see the Democrat Party sees them as the problem. And that's why they're touting this new form of masculinity. Come on. Emhoff, I said at the DNC convention, spoke well of Kamala Harris. But this guy impregnated the nanny. Come on, how is this guy it's one mistake? He's the type of role model these guys need, not Trump. So we're supposed to believe guys of this age, 18 to 24, are going to see as a role model someone like Tim Walz. None of your damn business, kid. Get out of my way. And Doug Emhoff when Trump is out there. And they're not going wholehearted for Trump. They see him as an anti-hero. But he's real. He's authentic. He's something they want to be part of at some level. All right. Get your observation on that at 855-839-1210. Coming up, our buddy Scott Presler is on to several things he's trying to beat down prior to really getting into crunch time, the last 2 weeks of the election. And we'll get a winner side question today, something identified with Florida. 855-839-1210. Where's that? Where's Jesse, guy that we often hear on this? Yeah, why are young men moving this way? The obvious answer is the Democrat Party's not for them. There's nothing there for them. What is there for somebody who's straight, white male in that age category? What messages are they getting? Negative. 855-839-1210.
The dreary conditions remain in the forecast for the first half of the work week. Clouds today with a shower possible. Still mild with a high 73. Tonight, clouds continue with a chance for a shower, low 60. And another cloudy day on Tuesday with a shower possible, high 71.
This school year, get your child or grandchild the help they need to succeed. Special tutoring and custom instruction is available from METC, the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. Now's the time to call Kathy Ganna and help your child have an outstanding year. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-3183. That's 800-291-3183. 800-291-3183.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey supported sanctuary city policies that let criminal illegal immigrants onto our streets instead of deporting them. Casey voted over and over again to fund sanctuary cities, making our neighborhoods less safe. After an illegal alien was arrested for domestic assault in Philadelphia, instead of deporting him, they let him go. Thanks to sanctuary city policies Bob Casey supported. That same criminal, released under the radical policy Casey voted for, went on to repeatedly rape a 5-year-old girl. It could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. But Bob Casey failed us. The U.S. attorney said this young girl was raped because of Philadelphia's sanctuary city policy. Bob Casey voted over and over for this madness, putting our families, our children, at risk. We've had enough of Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Turn off the financial news and turn on a great retirement. Find out how with Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute have formed a powerful alliance. Legends in Caregiving New Jersey families, the most sophisticated heart team in America. Innovators in research and patient care who've made life better for thousands of patients, raising the standard for the next generation of care. The alliance between Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute means the highest quality care close to home for you. DemandDeborah.org.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Welcome in. Coming to your call. Scott Presler, though, with his weekly update in Luzerne County, I know is on his mind here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Scott, welcome in. I liked the guest we had on from Luzerne County, the person in charge of the infrastructure there, but I was unaware of your tweet until Friday. What do you see happening there?
Well, thank you. It's very concerning. People aren't taking this seriously. There is a backlog of thousands of unprocessed voter registration and mail-in ballot applications. And from a reliable source, I have been told that even in the last couple days, these numbers have increased. And that's not only via the paper applications, that's also online. And Democrats, I want to make it clear to any Democrats that are listening to this, you should be as concerned as we are that mail-in ballot applications are not being processed. Voter registration applications are not being processed. This is voter disenfranchisement, and this is the left and the right should be asking the Board of Elections daily, very peacefully, why are they not hiring more people? Why is there not mandatory overtime? And why are they not being honest about the sure system actual numbers? And I hope that we can get answers to this because the last day to register to vote is on October 21st. And are they going to have all of these applications processed in time?
Luzerne is the place that ran out of ballots, right? Was it 2022?
Yes. And that's why this is so concerning as well. This isn't just, Scott Presler just making something up out of the blue. We already on the 23rd received written correspondence from the Luzerne County Board of Elections that they are saying 4,000 unprocessed applications are outstanding, even though we know it's more. This is a county that has had incompetence in the past, that factually, you may fact check me, the Luzerne County Board of Elections ran out of paper on Election Day in November of 2022. This is a county that has a history of things going wrong, and that's why I'm doing everything I can to bring national attention to what's going on in Pennsylvania.
Well, you definitely are. Scott, how do you feel, other than Luzerne County, and I know you'll stay on top of that, this message of the Secretary of State, and it plays right into this, that I worry about? Pennsylvania is going to decide it. I think you and I agree with that. And thank God we have Scott Presler out there. That's a secret weapon. But we can't have 2 or 3 days. The country can't stand that, of Pennsylvania going back and forth with all these delays to determine who wins the presidency.
Correct. Well, and that's why we are pushing for an all-of-the-above approach to voting. Yes, Republicans are going to be doing early voting. Now, this is very important. Some of these board elections are playing games, and if you say early voting, they're going to tell you there's no early voting. I mean, really, the corruption that's going on in Pennsylvania is very concerning. If somebody tells you there isn't early voting, then you use this vernacular. Please write this down. You say, I am requesting to vote in on-demand, in-person mail-in ballot. And if you have any problems, you record what's going on, please. You are allowed to record inside of Board of Elections offices. And in fact, the Luzerne County Board of Elections tried to stop us from recording, but we won that battle, that peaceful battle. And if anybody is giving you a hard time, I want you to email me at auditpa, that's AUDIT, P as in Paul, A as in Apple, at earlyvoteaction.com. And I'm very happy. Any information that you have, any whistleblowers out there, any videos that you take of boards of elections playing games with you, I will happily put this information to my nearly 7 million audience on X alone. And if these boards of elections want to play games, we'll happily come to the chessboard.
And Scott, for the General Scott Presler journey to greatness here, where do we go?
Please go to my website, earlyvoteaction.com. We need your continued financial support, and I want to make it clear. And if our Secretary Al Schmidt is listening, if Governor Shapiro is listening, if any Democrat spies are listening, I am talking to attorneys. I am talking to lawyers. We are watching everything you do. And I promise you, if this is not rectified, we are not going to wait until we don't have standing. We are prepared to go forth with litigation. We are prepared to sue your behinds. This is voter disenfranchisement. This cannot stand. We are aware what's going on. We have the Sure System numbers. And I promise you, I am going to be like a dog on a bone peacefully, and we are not going to let this issue go. I promise you that.
Scott, once again, thank you. Keep us in the loop anytime. Pop on.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks, Dom.
All right, Scott Presler here on Talk Radio 1210. The country can't stand Pennsylvania going, and Luzerne County is just the tip of the iceberg on this. 2, 3, 4 days. Yeah, we'll get back to you when we decide who the president is. All right, let me go to Greg in the Northeast. Hey, Greg, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom, how are you? Good. I really appreciate your show because at this point you're a bastion of the free press. And I wanted to speak about this whole fact-checking notion.
Yes.
The very notion of it, implies we need an expert regime. It's nefarious. It's antithetical to a free people and our constitutional republic.
I agree. Really and Greg, the wrinkle today, they threw in the forensic CBS people will be doing this. And again, a guy like Vance, what they're doing is they're doing what happened in the last debate, and I think they know that Vance would be waiting to jump on this detail if they tried to fact-check him in this, and Trump missed the opportunity. That's the great regret I have to go after Muir with the Charlottesville thing, so that's why they're doing this approach, which is ridiculous.
I think it's out there. I think it really exposes the threat against the American people. A notion like that puts a buffer between the government and the governed, and it absolves both of their responsibilities.
Absolutely.
We are the fact checkers. We're the fact checkers, and what I would like to ask all these people that demand fact checkers is, where is this university of fact checkers? Who are they? Honestly.
Well, look,
we are up against this bureaucracy. This is what's running D.C. right now.
Gotcha. Thank you, Greg. Look, we know about the Dale guy over at CNN. Now, though, we don't know if he's a forensic fact checker. This is CSI fact checkers here. If you missed that part of the show today from CBS, and I think they realized that Vance in a debate is going to be more specific maybe than Trump was. If they yell fact check, he's going to go after the entire premise of this, as Trump could have in the first debate when Kamala Harris prattled on about Charlottesville. There were 2 or 3 there where he could say, that's it. You've called fact check. You've thrown the flag here, David Muir, 5 times. And no fact check on that. Is ABC News saying, I said that about Charlottesville? Even Snopes says untrue. We're not going to answer that. Well, I'm not moving on until I get an answer. Call the head of ABC News then. Is that what they're saying? So to Greg's point, CBS is going to have this team on social media, fact checkers, and they're forensic. We'll see if we can get a definition of what they mean by forensics are going to be involved here in fact-checking. It sounds impressive, but I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do differently. All right, it is the lightning round next. Want to get a winner? Something associated with Florida. That's next here on Talk Radio 1210.
This is Carson Daly, and on behalf of Dr. Alfie, Katie Neal, and all of our guests, I want to thank you for joining us for I'm Listening, Odyssey's mental health initiative. Our goal is to open our minds and hearts to more mental health conversations, because talk saves lives. If you missed the special or want to hear it again, you can find it at imlistening.org and on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. For more resources on your mental health journey, please visit imlistening.org. Thanks again.
With the federal government allowing over 20 million non-residents into our country to participate in social programs that they aren't paying for, the taxes on your portfolio are set to skyrocket.
Barry Kaiser. I started with Crash Proof Retirement in 2005. With this year's election, I'm concerned there will be continued high spending, providing opportunities for people who aren't even American citizens. Taxes would continue to go up and families would have a much more difficult time living. But I don't have to be concerned financially because I've been through 2 market crashes since I've been in Crash Proof Retirement, and I have not lost a penny. With the Crash Proof Retirement system, I've earned over 10%. Once it is credited, you never lose it. With Crash Proof Retirement, I'm election proof.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Mill Country Club on October 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And that team is Dr. Molly Fantasia and the medical staff at Innovative Medical Associates. Yes, cancer is a scary word and a difficult condition if you've been diagnosed. Over the years, the staff at Innovative Medical Associates has helped hundreds of patients with their unique medical hydration protocols. Cancer support is a large part of the practice at Innovative Medical Associates.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Talk about improving your quality of life. Most likely, that'll happen when you visit Innovative Medical Associates. Check them out on the web at innovativemedicalassociates.com or call 856-489-0505 to schedule your initial complimentary consultation.
New Jeeps from $269 a month at turnersvillejeep.com. Drive a new Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, Compass, or Ram truck from $269 a month at turnersvillejeep.com.
2024 Compass, 4-cylinder auto, $269 a month, 7,500 miles, closed and leased, 39 months with $2,269 due at inception. Total payments $12,491. MSRP $35,340. VIN number RT175028. Residual $19,083. Tax and tax extra. Not valid with trade-in. $599 doc fee. Ends 9/7/24.
Someone once said it's always better to do one thing at once. I see if you can do 2 things at once, why wouldn't you? You're probably doing that right now anyway. Like at Hutchinson Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, if you buy one fall furnace tune-up, we'll give you an AC tune-up in spring for free. You do one, and you don't even have to think about the other. See, that's 2 things taken care of. So the moral is doing 2 things at once isn't just easier, it saves you money. Book now at hutchcomfort.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535, 800-511-3535, or biglou.com.
What's on the menu for football season?
Pork, of course. Get ready for game day with Hatfield and put some pork on your fork. Elevate your kickoff cuisine and halftime feast with Hatfield's winning lineup of marinated pork tenderloins, pork loin fillets, ground pork and sausage, bacon and ham. Whether you're the tailgate king or gridiron gourmet, Hatfield helps you savor the taste of victory. Visit simplyhatfield.com for play-by-play menu inspiration. Find your flavor with Hatfield.
It's Dom time. Dom Giordano. Weekdays, noon till 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
That's right, and today's lightning round sponsored by Cherry Hill Volvo. Enjoy back-to-school savings on a 36-month lease of a 2024 front-wheel drive S60 for only $369 per month down payment. Registration fee and taxes due at inception. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. All right, something associated. Dan, by the rundown tomorrow first. So, Laura Trump right at what?
12:30, Dom.
12:30?
Yep.
And we're working on getting one of those young Republicans back on because this poll ought to give you hope. How they view Trump. It's not just conservative turning, because there are conservatives that not necessarily are going to be fond of Trump. It's that factoid about not seeing this as chaotic as the media presents it, because they weren't paying attention, and they finally see 2016 as things seem to be pretty good with people. This is an important demographic here for everybody. All right, let's go to Joe in Bordentown, something Florida associated. Joe, what's yours?
Mine is Florida drag racing legend Don Big Daddy Gorlitz, whose car, the Swamp Rat, is on exhibit at the Smithsonian.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know that I had on the all-timer there. Why am I blanking on his name? And I had to call him Mr.
Dale Earnhardt?
No, not drag racer. The all-time stunt guy, fired on a rocket.
Say it again.
Evil Knievel?
Evil Knievel. And I had to
Is
say...
it Knievel or Robbie?
No, Evil Knievel. And I had to say, Mr. Knievel, tell me more about this. It was nuts.
Mr. Knievel.
Oh, what a great interview. Yeah. Joe of Exton, Talk Radio 1210. Joe, what's yours?
Yes. Hello, Dom, and good afternoon. My Florida thing regards the writer Ernest Hemingway and the Hemingway House and Museum on Key West.
All-time overrated author, Joe. I don't know if I part company
Up there with
with you on
Shakespeare?
that. No, Hemingway overrated.
Joe?
All right, Joe went off. He doesn't want to hear that.
Yeah,
okay.
he's like, nah,
Not,
he's great,
Shakespeare
yeah.
not overrated.
Apparently he
Hemingway
loves Ernest
definitely
Hemingway, yeah.
overrated. Gary in Newtown. Gary, who's yours?
Hey, Dom, how are you? I hope you guys had a great hope you had a great weekend.
Thank you.
I really loved your Tommy John conversation. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Last week.
Henry's on to these guys. There's big endorsement possibilities of a bunch of Hall of Famers. I've had to tell Henry, though, one on the list, not happening. I'm not putting them on here. Should I say the name, Henry?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Let's see.
All right. You'll hear who
Might have
that
to
is.
force
No
them on
way
you,
it's
Dom,
going to
to
be
get
on
the
here.
rest, yeah.
Cork in the bat. Think of that. That's all I can tell you. But, Gary, what's yours?
Well, I want to say something. Leslie Fisher-Pine said, why doesn't Trump have something behind him on stage or wherever he's at that says, like, for example, there's a great website out there called, I think it's kamalasOwnWords.org, kamalaswords.org. And if you click on it, it's her talking about what she said in the past. And it's not done by the Republican Party, the best as I know, but it's in her own words. So anyway, and going back to the fact checkers, that's why I would say the Kamala's own words. But my answer today is Don Johnson, a.k.a. Miami Vice, and the Don Johnson look, meaning half stubble beard, nice jacket, just crazy.
Seems like you were pulling that off at the Don Jr. event. Gary.
Yeah, Gary, nice look there. All right, put you down for that. Let me take one more. Bruce in the Northeast. Bruce, what's yours?
Hey, Dom, it's been said a lot of these hog the left lane when they drive in Florida, and that would be the retirees.
Absolutely. That's a good one. Glad you got that in. No one said that the whole show. I'm kind of surprised.
That's a big answer, man.
All right, Henry, give me your top one here.
I thought right off the bat, Mike and Westchester's answer of Ray Finkel.
Dom didn't seem to like it too much,
No, that's a little bit obscure, but okay. Dan, how about yours?
I think the top three from today, Dom, are probably Donna and Malvern with orange juice.
Right.
I like Ernest Hemingway from Joe and Exton. And how about the retirees, Bruce and Northeast, the Snowbirds?
I kind of like the Snowbirds, the retirees.
All right.
And at the very end, we should have taken that one off, too. All right, that's the winner. We'll put the name into the hat. Big stuff tomorrow. I'll get more on this fact-checking tomorrow, too. Rich Zioli Show next. 4 big hours. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.